Hey, nice to meet you.
Cool.
My name's Rylee.
My name's Reed. Nice to be here with you this evening.
Here we go.
Okay.
Whoa, you gotta try this out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
My heart is beating fast.
Oh,
I'm nervous.
Our first date.
Isn't it cool? Like, hello.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
It's weird. Like, it picks up the sound really well. Like, just the ruffling and stuff.
Yeah, and like
it's like almost
listen
too
to
good
that.
with the maracha. You know?
Yeah, and so every time I have to go in and do like a noise reduction because it's too much.
Interesting.
It was weird. I was at Brad's house the other day and we were doing a podcast in his basement, and I could hear his son upstairs when I had the microphone on. But when I took it off, I couldn't hear.
You're like in a little personal baby monitor.
Yeah.
Speaking of, dude,
Yeah.
Cree's like little hummingbird thing.
Yeah.
That's really
Isn't that
cool.
so cool?
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah, I walked in. Sorry, I forgot I have to set the freaking alarm.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I hate that. That was like the worst part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was there that day.
Oh,
That's
really?
when we filmed the podcast. It's a cool one. You should totally watch it. He talks about how he
Brad?
bought. Yeah.
Mm.
He talks about how he bought the gym and,
nice.
and why he bought the gym.
Yeah.
And like, so he's actually doubled revenue for a whole month, like their average for a whole month in his first 2 weeks.
Really?
Which is crazy.
Guess he's got that Voss mentality. He said he's like always like, dude, I love fitness, whatever, which he always has. But like, was he just like, I'm gonna take a risk and go for it, or what did he?
So it's actually surprisingly not about fitness at all, which
really?
I didn't expect.
What a fatso.
I know he hates getting healthy. It's actually, so what he wants to do for his career is he wants to do what's called a private equity fund, which is like basically.
When I hear that, I hear Mitt Romney.
Yeah, that's actually the same idea. Mitt Romney is a venture capitalist, which is like, you ever watch Shark Tank? Yeah, those guys
don't it?
Those guys are venture capitalists basically, and what they do is they have a ton of money and they give it to startups. And what a fund is a lot of people put in their money. So rather than like Mark Cuban giving his money to someone, it's like 1 million people put their money into a fund. And then
like 1 million Joes, average Joes type of thing.
And then Brad would take that fund and invest it and then give the money back to them.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
that's super cool.
He wants to do that.
It sounds risky, but sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's super lucrative, like if you can actually do it. But in order to do that, you have to prove that you can like raise a business, you know?
I'm just like giggling. I don't know.
You want me to wear those?
Oh, dude, no, I like this. I gotta take like.
Isn't it cool?
Yeah, it is way cool. It's like,
and the noise
you're right there whispering in my ear.
I know. It's like so weird. It's gonna sound. This part is gonna sound way better than the rest of it. Hello.
That sounds way more crisp.
I know. It sounds crazy.
ASMR, here we go. I got nothing. Wait.
We're going viral.
ASMR that, kids. What's this podcast rated, by the
way? Dude. NSFW.
Wait, you probably have said that. Oh no! What they put in that Mo Bettas, man? Shoot.
Man.
You probably said this a million times, but like, what's with your like? I mean, I'm stoked on it, but what's your like recent surge in like podcasts? Like, I want to talk to anybody. Like, what is that?
So it's a
you weirdo.
So I listen to a ton of podcasts just because I drive a lot.
What are your like main ones? But that's not too personal.
That is too personal, so we'll edit this part out.
Perfect.
Does that sound cool when you do that?
It does. It's really nice.
I know. What I really need is 2 microphones.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
It still sounds so good, and there's no like background
Would it
noise.
help if we just?
No. We could, but the problem is, so the mode that the microphone is doesn't record on the sides.
Oh.
It only records on the front. There's a different mode that records on the sides, but it doesn't sound as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's actually a mode that records the whole thing, but again, it doesn't sound. This one's specifically like for voices.
Gotcha.
But so I listen to a lot of podcasts, and for years I've just thought it was cool, but I never really wanted to do it.
Right.
And then Maddie got me this microphone. I was like, oh, that's cool. It's a podcasting microphone.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened was when we found out I had it for a year, right? I got it for last Christmas.
Yeah.
I never used it. I never really even opened it. And then when we found out our baby's gender, we're like, we should record this. This would be fun. Like we should talk, and like, you know, when we're grown up, we'll look back and we want to like remember this moment and how it felt. Yeah, like a journal.
That's cool.
So we filmed it. We just like sat down and filmed it just to try out the microphone or whatever. Mm-hmm. And just completely forgot. I put it on YouTube just to save it so that I wouldn't forget about it. So I'll make a YouTube channel and I just like put it on there, left it as private.
Is it, if I'm correct, Who He Wanna?
Who He Wanna.
Is that where the viewers can look it up?
At Who He Wanna LLC. So yeah, and then eventually, so I just barely changed it to like Reed Fletcher and stuff. So it was because it's been Who He Wanna for like years.
Yeah, seriously,
right?
Since YouTube's birth.
Yeah, the first ever account.
Yeah.
And so, I completely forgot about it. Like we didn't do it again for a while, and then we were driving to Arizona, and Maddie remembered it for some reason. So we listened to it while we were driving. Mm-hmm. We're like, this is so cool. Mm-hmm. Like there's so many parts of that day that we forgot.
Right.
And not only that, but like when you actually can listen to the voice the day of, like our excitement and like
it's not like a week old and you're like kind of always like amped on it, whatever. Yeah.
And it's not just like basically like this is what we did, this is where we went, but it was more of like the emotional side of it.
Right. And
so then I got the idea. I was like, well, I should do that with my grandpa because he's 98.
I would love to do that with my grandpa.
You should use my microphone.
That'd be super cool.
So it's like
need like that microphone right up here because he talks.
I mean my grandpa too, and it picks it up. Yeah. But so then I got the idea. I was like, well, I should do this. Well, so then I was like, well, first let's do this with Maddie's family so that we can have that same thing. So we brought the microphone to Maddie's family and we filmed like an hour-long conversation about, you know, how they were excited about the baby and stuff. Right. And the same thing happened. We listened to it later. I'm like, this is so awesome. Like, why have we never thought of this? And then I got the idea to do it with my grandpa because my grandma died like 10 years ago and I don't remember her like at all.
Oh, so you're like, I need my grandpa's memories saved.
Yeah. And that's plus, cool. My kids are never going to know her. They're never going to know him. Right. So I wanted them to kind of like hear what his personality is like more than anything. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of why I chose this style of podcast too, of just talking. Right. Because I think it's really cool to just kind of feel like you know someone just by listening. Right. So I just brought it, started recording, and it was so awesome. Yeah. And have you seen, I think I showed you that video of him where he's like talking about my grandma. And I was like, this is like, I never would have heard this kind of thing.
It's super cool. Yeah. Like I think that's a great idea. Like for myself, it'll be so fun because I hate just like sitting down and writing stuff. Oh yeah. But, like talking about stuff.
And I don't even read it. Like I don't like to write
lose it or whatever. Yeah. But like this kind of stuff, I think it'd be super cool. Like for example, like my grandpa we were in St. George for the holiday weekend and he was just telling me these his like stories from his mission because he's never like told me them, or he probably has. I've just forgotten them or like not paying attention or whatever. Yeah, yeah. But I was just like laughing so hard, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just like tell this the exact way my grandpa did. Exactly. For whoever, because it's so funny. Yeah, that was freaking cool. But also like, so I did like my genealogy. This was forever ago, like 4 or 5 years ago. I was looking at it with my mom. Mm-hmm. And both sides are like way into it, right? And we have like our line goes back forever because they've done all this work, which is super cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But there's this one dude, and I forget his name. He's like, you know, like 14 times greater, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. But his name is like it's like Lothbrok, like the Terrible or something. Really? And he's just like
from Scotland, or like, probably from
Norway.
Norway, yeah.
He's just like a pillage plunderer, and I've always thought like, dang, like that dude probably has the coolest stories of all time. Like when I'm in heaven chatting with him, that's the first dude I'm gonna go to. Like, dude, tell me like your life stories. Like that's so cool.
Well, and so for my parents, their wedding and my dad's mission, they don't have any pictures. They don't have any video. Yeah. So like I've always I think that's why I like to take a lot of pictures now too, because like I grew up always wondering like what it looked like, what my parents were like. like them as teenagers. Like I have no clue.
Right. Which is like such a bummer because it's like I don't feel like I fully know them.
Yeah. So I guess that adds to one of the reasons why I wanted to do the podcast. When me and Maddie first got married, we did like little video diaries for that.
Hot.
Sexual video diaries. All right, cool.
Very nice.
Hey, Mom.
Maddie.
And so, and there's the same thing. We'd like make a video. Like we made a video like I think it was when we got engaged. Just like, oh, we just got engaged. And we just saved it. We didn't post it or anything. Watched it later and it was so cool to watch.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to have something like that for my parents to see their first apartment or to like see my dad when he graduated college. Like they didn't take any pictures.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be super cool to show my kids like this is what we were like before you were born. And stuff
that's one reason why like I super enjoy photography too, because like as far as like Instagram and likes and all that crap, like I don't really care about that at all. Right. It's like it's nice because I can like kind of keep up with people that I haven't seen in a while. Yeah. But also like it's just like a journal for me. Yeah, totally. Which is super nice, which is like why I would really wanted to get into like making vlogs and stuff. Just for like my own sake and my posterity. Because exactly. Like pictures are amazing, but you don't like get any sound. You can't feel it as much. Yeah. And like it's so true, which is like a good thing to me. It's like when you look at something in a picture, you can't, it's like, it's even the greatest picture ever. Like, it's like, 100 times greater to go experience it and see that. Right. Because even though, cameras are amazing, it's like, it can't capture it 100%, which is good because that means you actually have to go out and experience stuff, which is like awesome. I mean, you can't just sit on your computer all day. But, so it's like a great way to do it. But if you're like making vlogs, like, like the smallest things, like, oh yeah, I remember when you were driving to wherever that you're not going to take a picture of, but like some reason you like filmed it. Yeah. I mean, how many memories do we have in high school and whatever we would love to remember now? Also, how many do we have that would get us thrown off the presidential route? Like all of them. All of them. But yeah, I just think that's super cool. So like to have a combo of like photography, like vlogs and crap that like. And it's funny though, because like I remember when I was a younger kid, and my grandpa Lee would like sit down. That picked that up real nice. Oh yeah, my bad. But he would like sit down and have the the big spools they would throw up on the projector and like and flip through. And I hated that. Really? But he was so excited because I was younger and I was just like, I don't really get it. Memory doesn't matter to you. You're like you're in a memory. You're a little kid. It's like, why do I care about this? I don't know any of these people. Like, they don't mean anything to me. They're not my siblings or my mom and dad. Yeah. But, like, I would like to do that now. But would it be as exciting as hearing my grandpa speak and all that? Or, like, watching videos of him? Like, no. So, like, the combo of those would be really cool. Yeah. And I mean, this might sound, like, dismal. But I felt like a really big urgency because my grandpa's super old. Yeah. And your grandpa's super old. That's what I just felt in St. George too. Like, man, I like love my grandpa, but I don't really know him. And he's like near the end of his life. And it always like sneaks up on you. It always sneaks up on you, folks. Always sneaks up on you. Does. Brought to you by a word from our sponsor. Well, like, every time, like when my grandma died, she was sick for a long time. But even when she died, even though she had cancer for 3 years, it was still the moment I found out she was dead. It was like, oh, freak, crap. Yeah. Like, I wasn't expecting that. I can't believe she's gone. I can't talk to her anymore. Right. And my grandpa, he just had 2 brothers die last month. He's now the last in his family. And so he could literally die at any time. Yeah. So I like have this, I don't know if fear is the right word, but just this urgency, like I gotta just get to know this guy. Like I make up for lost time, I guess. Yeah. Know? Or like, so I have this grandpa on my Olsen side who was the trainer for Jack Dempsey, the boxer, who was like, what? Yeah, my grandpa was his trainer. Dang. So like that would be so cool to like just hear like his life story. Like for real. That'd be like gold to me, to like hear that stuff. That'd be pretty cool. But And who knows? Maybe my kids will be like, whatever. Like, I don't care about this stuff. But at least like I gave them the chance. You know?
Most likely they'll care when they get older.
Right. Yeah.
Like I never cared, and that's the sad thing. I didn't really care to get to know my grandma. I mean, she died when I was like 12, so it was sad. But as a 12-year-old, you don't really get it.
Right.
That when you're 40, you're gonna want to know where you came from. You know.
And you like when you're younger, you're like, well, yeah, it's grandma and grandpa. They're old. Like they're kind of supposed to die anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But as we get older, I feel that for sure. Like with my dad too, he's getting super old. I'm like, wow, my dad could actually die. Like he could.
Same with my dad.
He has Parkinson's. Maybe my kids will never know him. You know? And I don't. I try not to think about that because I don't think it's first off even that likely. It's not like he's like on his deathbed or anything. But I still want. I want to do one with him too for that same reason. Mm-hmm. Like have a record of what he was like. Yeah, it's important to me.
Yeah, I should get into that.
You for real should.
That's cool. Do you know how much this mic costs? This is not a plug.
Brought to you by Blue,
the best in audio equipment.
For the generations.
It's like $150.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not too bad, yeah.
For future, what I'm saying?
Yeah, so cool. Maddie did a ton of research on it, and this is like the best one for podcasting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and this is the one that like pros use and stuff. I'm sure there's a lot of different variations. Like there's probably better ones for like a studio where they like hook around and
and they have the big circle things.
Yeah, and you can attach those to that too.
Oh, that's cool.
And I'm pretty sure you can actually detach this somehow and like elevate it, but I have not thought to do that.
That's cool. You got a good wife, dude.
Yeah,
she's a good one.
Yeah, for real. And we had like talked about it. I've always kind of had an interest in podcasting, but I never thought I'd really do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, I think part of it that I think pushed me a little bit to get going, like a bunch of little things along the way, it's like in the back of my mind for a long time, but I think part of it was Rose's whole thing. That was another one of like, wow, big things are happening. I need to remember this time period,
Right. That's cool. Yeah, how fun would that be? Even just to like go back to when we were in high school, just to listen to ourselves, like,
Can you imagine if we had a recording of that night when we made those bridges? Remember when we stayed up till
my gosh,
and then we didn't even go to school the next day?
We're like, okay, last day to knock it out. Last day to knock it out. We're gonna kill this assignment. We're gonna show. It's gonna be sweet. And we stay up all night and don't even go to the last day. You can turn it in.
We just like slept through it.
Freaking so
that was one of the dumbest things we've ever done.
Seriously,
we seriously stayed up till like 7:30 the next morning.
Yeah,
like school's at like 8:00.
Yeah, that was so fun. Like that. Yeah, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, or like all our stories. I think I seriously now it's like almost becoming like an obsession.
Yeah,
where I'm thinking about anytime I'm talking with someone, I'm like, I want to remember that.
Right.
Like when we had dinner the other night with everyone at Cheesecake Factory. Like, wow, there's so many stories here with you guys that I don't want to forget.
Yeah.
And I will.
Just like talking to you like this is like sparking like, oh man, I wish I had that. Oh, I wish I had this.
Yeah. Remember the transform. Transform.
Yeah.
Still recording sound by the way. So.
This ad is brought to you by Trojan, the best a man can get.
Oh, heck yeah. Here we go. Let's see.
Reed is now cutting off my head with a chainsaw.
How do you save all this stuff?
What do you mean?
Like, do you just save it all on YouTube or on your computer or Dropbox or what do you?
Save it on YouTube.
Just on YouTube?
Because I figured that was the best idea because YouTube has like unlimited.
Dude, that's another sick thing. It's like you can do all this basically for free. Can you publish it on like Spotify for free?
Yeah, I'm on Spotify. Yeah, for free.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's like such a valuable resource. Holy turd. Oh. What was I saying?
I feel like such a bozo for not charging those before I came.
What happens?
Anyway, you were saying, what were we talking? Oh, we're talking about like so many memories that we don't want to forget. Yeah. So when we're sitting like at Cheesecake Factory and I hear them talking about stories, I'm like, oh yeah, that. Oh, I want to remember that story. And then, or like funny opinions, or like when we're sitting there at the end. Were you part of that joke when we were like,
Just this last time?
Yeah, we're talking about how Exhibit and Pimp My Ride comes and just like F's up their ride. It's like you're on Pimp My Ride. Like, oh, I'm so excited. Sweet. Like, you guys are going to like turn my minivan around. And like, they come back. Like, I thought you were going to, fix the suspension or something. But like, no, like your exhaust is bubbles though, dude. Yeah. And it's actually like usually useless crap. Like,
right.
Yeah, so your windshield is still broken, but we got a stripper pole in the back seat.
Oh, we got 12-inch subs.
We got a microwave.
Yeah, I watched this one. I used to love that show. Though.
I did too, actually.
I watched this one where they like had a minivan, and it was like pretty high on miles. They didn't touch the engine, but they just installed a giant speaker under the back where the spare tire would. So they checked
hey, Exhibit. Like, I can't. What do I do if my tire gets...
They freaking checked the spare tire, install this giant speaker, and then the dash, the options, it was like downloaded with all these different cars. And so you can make your minivan sound like any car, which I thought was pretty sweet.
Is pretty cool.
But they didn't touch the engine, so it was actually faster and anything. So you could be like, oh, today I want to sound like a beastie, like, old school muscle car when I pull up to the light next to some
That's
mom
pretty cool.
And then, next up I'm going to be a Ferrari.
1900s, like, oh,
yeah. Hit the crank, boys. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, stuff like that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
We do that like every time we all get together. It's just, it's like ratting off all these stories and inside jokes and like random tangents.
It's funny though, like, there's like what, 6 of us?
Yeah.
Pretty much. And it's like, it's funny, like what different stories different people remember.
Yeah.
Cause it's like the bridge thing. Like I was like, what? I forgot about that. But one that just like hit me so hard that always comes up actually is, well, I just told this story to freaking whatever that chick's name I'm dating. The burritos one. When we came home from playing basketball and it was like 12:07 or something, and we were starving because we played basketball for like 5 hours, hadn't eaten anything.
Like at night?
Yeah, and we're at your house that was in
with my dad.
With your dad.
Oh
and
my gosh.
We freaking make my burrito, frozen burrito. We're stoked on it. I'm just mobbing this thing. And then you go in to grab it and you have it in your hand and your dad's like, put the burrito down. And you're like, what, dude? I'm sorry. He's like, it is the Sabbath. We do not eat on the Sabbath, whatever, because it's fast Sunday or something.
And like, you're not supposed to eat before you go to bed because it's unhealthy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Or the one when we were once again at my house, like 3 or 4 in the morning, and we're eating graham crackers.
with the
freaking
the
milk.
mug.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was one of the funniest stories of my entire life.
And then my dad comes out in his garments. He's like, what the heck are you dumbass doing?
We're trying so hard not to laugh.
That's so funny.
And like, because it was really funny because the mug was perfectly. Sometimes mugs like start small at the bottom and then get bigger, but it was a perfect cylinder.
Right.
Actually, I was just told you the story, right?
Yeah, you told me the story.
This didn't even happen.
You told me the story.
Told you, and you were laughing.
Yeah.
That had happened to Brad.
Brad and you or something. Yeah.
And
you spent forever filling up this perfectly cylindrical mug with milk, and it was white, so you wanted to make it look like the top was the bottom.
Yeah, and I loved like surface tension.
Yeah.
And so I got like pennies and I like dropping them in so that it was super, super tense on the top.
Right. And so it looked like a top goes perfect, and he hadn't touched it in a minute. Then Brad comes in from working out, whatever, and he's like, oh, sweet, I need a cup for milk. And just thinks he's flipping it over and just dumps it all himself. And you told me that when we're eating graham crackers with milk. And it was so late. We were just like,
so
like choking on our grams.
Laughing so hard.
Oh, man, that was so
like
funny.
The time when we had the fan in the back of my van. Remember, like the ceiling fan?
And we like had cowboy hats for some reason?
Because it was in the back of the car. So like, oh yeah. And then we started driving on the wrong side of the road. And like,
oh, we're in England.
We're in England. Bloody Mary.
Yankees.
Like Cassidy came out like, you guys are so stupid. You're not in England.
We're like, that was a bunch of English dudes.
We
just been sleeping.
I honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Oh, that was so funny.
In the middle of July.
Dude, speaking of Cass.
Yeah.
You're going to have a baby soon, so it's probably not any time near. But Anja moved to Hawaii to help her uncle like renovate this huge portion of his house. So he lives in a part. They're renovating this part.
Yeah.
And they're gonna make it into an Airbnb. And she's like, come and stay like for free whenever you guys want to
that's
on
awesome.
Oahu or whatever.
Oh
That'd
my
be
gosh.
so fun.
That'd be so cool.
Right?
One of mine and Maddie's like life dreams actually is to own Airbnbs
Oh my gosh,
in all of our favorite places.
I would love, and then I would just love to manage those and just do that for my job.
Yeah.
And travel around to them whenever I want.
Well, it's not as hard as you'd think. I mean, I'm sure it's hard. It takes money, it takes time, but you just learn those things, you know? And like you could have an Airbnb. Maddie wants to have one like in Kauai and then one in California. Also because you'd make a lot of money.
Yeah.
But then you could go there for free.
Yeah. Seriously.
There's a lot of cool ways to kind of game the system too. Like a guy that I worked with, he is really savvy with credit cards.
Oh yeah.
And so he every single year, him and his wife, they go on a full vacation to like Mexico, Playa del Carmen or something, and the entire thing is for free
because they use their points or whatever.
Points. Yeah,
that's awesome. Have you seen the movie Up in the Air?
George Clooney?
Yeah,
I haven't seen it.
It's like all about that. So what he does for his job, he like travels and he fires people.
Okay.
Like that's what his company does.
Yeah.
And he's just obsessed about how many miles he can get, how many days on the road. Like he lives in this dumpy apartment at his place, even though he makes good money, but he's never there. So he's like, I'm not gonna pay for a nice place.
Yeah.
And it's super interesting. And it's like, oh dang, I need to like start taking care of like buy everything on a credit card, then just pay it off with my other bank crap, and I get all these other rewards. Like miles flying, like that could get you free flights. That could get whatever. It's super nice.
Me and Maddie finally, because we want to buy a house, so we've been trying to get our credit up and everything. So I had a credit card. I just got the Disney credit card. I only got it because I work with a girl who said I should just use it at Disneyland because you get a discount just for having it.
Oh.
And we're going to Disneyland, so like, I'll just get it. It doesn't cost anything, and then I'll just use it at Disneyland. But I've just been using it now as a credit card, and now I have a free ticket the next time we go.
Oh, that's nice.
So I already have one ticket paid for, and I got it like 6 months ago. So every year
for just buying what you were already going to buy.
Yeah, I didn't buy anything new. Not to mention, I get the tickets for discounted.
Yeah,
and anything at Disney or even like a Disney store, I get a discount.
Yeah, that's super smart. Like I just recently got a like Chase Sapphire card or something.
Yeah, mine's Chase like, too. It's just not Sapphire. But
if you spend like this whatever within the first 2 months, you get like 70,000 miles, which equates to like $850 in airline tickets.
Dang, that's
which
sweet.
Is a crap ton.
Yeah, for real.
That could like get you, you know, like down to Patagonia or something crazy cool like that. So you have money to spend on other crap. But that's sweet.
There's like, I think that there's probably a
you should pick his brain and ask him how he does it.
I should. He was telling me about it a couple years ago when I was working with him, but I kind of went over my head.
You're just like, whatever.
He had like it was black. It was Chase and it was black.
Ooh.
I don't know what
for some reason that's like the cool credit cards. Like the max is like crazy high. Whatever on them if they're black.
I mean, he was making a lot of money and he used his a lot. And there's a lot of like little loopholes. So Maddie's parents were like the cooks or something for a state conference not state conference, the stake youth activity. So it's like 600 kids or something, and they made food for all of them. And so one of their
did you hear that? A noise?
Yeah,
what was
it was on my phone.
Oh,
let me turn that down so that isn't that crazy?
Yeah,
I could barely hear that.
Yeah.
So one of the other couples bought all the food, which was like 600 people worth of food on their credit card. And so they maxed out and they got like 5 credit cards and maxed them all out and then got reimbursed by the church, paid them all off, and now have made like a ton of money.
That's smart.
And all these free miles and stuff.
That's smart. Yeah, my dad like did the same thing with Costco because he had to go buy all their crap for the break room. So he just put it on his card. Then at the end of the year, you get your Costco reimbursement. He had like $600 or something. But back to like things to record, dude. Oh my gosh, this was like one of those moments in your life where it's like, this is like so like precious and a fragile moment. I don't ever want it to like end. And it's like one of those ones, you've probably had it, but it's like, so I'll tell you what it was. So we went to L.A. Me, Danon, and his buddy, and we were on Santa Monica Pier, and there was this homeless dude on the end of the. Well, pretty sure he's homeless. He looked homeless, and he's a street performer. Anyways, he's on the end of this pier, and there's just like tons of people walking around, and you have like the cool, famous little like restaurant at the end that has really gummy like seafood and whatever for those nerds who like seafood.
Yeah.
And this guy is just like, he's like pretty rough looking. And he had to be probably like early 60s. And he was playing like a whole bunch of Cat Stevens songs, which I love.
Yeah, me too.
But then like he sounded just like him. And it was so amazing. And I was just like sitting there like filming it on my phone because it was so great. I wanted to remember it. But then like my phone died and whatever. And the sound's not that good. But it was super cool because it was just like, even though there's so many people, it was just me and this like homeless dude singing Cat Stevens. And I was just sitting there like in a trance, just like, I want to soak this up as much as I possibly can because it was so just like amazing. And I just like started bawling, and Danon and whatever the kid, he just like, they went off and whatever because I was just like gazer being on this dude. It was so cool. Like, and I went up to him and I asked him like, dude, do you have like an album? Are you on Spotify or anything? And this was like so precious. He looks at me and he's like has the biggest smile ever because he was like stoked that I asked him, but he didn't have it. But he was just like so happy that I like asked him that. Yeah. Oh man, that was super cool. That was amazing.
That is cool.
Or there's this other time. It was me, Danon, and Jacob, and we were in San Francisco, and we were walking up to like there's like this. It's not like a light. It's like this tower that's just on top of the hill, and you go up there and you can like see the whole city. And the tower's like painted pink. I forget what it's called, but it's pretty like popular spot. Anyways, we were going up there, and it's like super hilly, and we're like walking down this one hill, and we can see the tower up here, and it was just one more street. But we just like stopped for a second, and we were just kind of chatting, and then from like the top floor, which was probably 4 or 5 floors up, we just hear this guy practicing his banjo. And we're just sitting on this corner, and he was just super good at it. And we were just sitting there just like, oh, this is so cool. Like, he doesn't know we're listening to him.
Yeah.
And there's nobody else here. He's just doing this on his own accord, not to impress anybody. And it was just so amazing. And we were all just like, holy crap. Like, that's one of those moments where it's like, I don't know. I think it's like God is just like, let me just like throw this in his day to just like make him happy and make him like go back to that like certain memory and just be like, oh, that was like so amazing. Cause it's like so insignificant, but that's what makes it like super special, you know? But like, yeah, that was amazing. That was so cool.
I remember having moments like that. We had a moment like that remember when we went to that Catholic cathedral place and listened to those monks with your family?
Yeah.
And we found like this secret, like winding staircase in the back, and then
because we got there early and we were just checking it out,
and we were walking around, and then they started playing that song, they're like, and I remember like, oh wow, this is so weird.
And like, you're like, it's funny because you're like, I am like inside of a movie right now, like this is how cool it feels.
I remember another moment like that too when we went to yoga actually.
Oh really?
And yeah, it was like me, you, Mike, Jacob, like not that long ago. And it was the sleeping part. And usually, like, I mean, it's good. It's like a stretch. I don't usually feel like this deep connection to anything.
Yeah, the old corpse pose.
Yeah, it's fun and like it feels good. But, you know, I think some people go to yoga for like a spiritual purpose. I don't really do that. I actually really just like stretching.
Right.
But I remember it was the music from Arrival at the end. Do you remember that time?
I do.
And it was so warm, and they did let us like lay there extra long.
And it just like smelled so good. And I'm pretty sure that time even they had like the people who were trying to get their license or whatever that were there. Maybe it was a different time.
Is that when they'd come and like massage you?
Like they just like grab your feet and like do a little jiggle and rub you, and it's just like this is absolute bliss.
And like there's like incense, and also you were like really tired because you had just been working out the whole time. And so the relaxation felt extra good. It's like you said, it's like insignificant. So it's really hard to do those on purpose or to like seek those moments out because they usually come because you're not seeking them out. Like you wouldn't like, expect them.
If you're on the hunt for that, like you're not going to find it.
Yeah.
Because it's, I don't know. Because you're like too tuned in. I don't know. It's weird.
Honestly, that's one of the problems I have with church is that like when I'm standing at the Grand Canyon and no one's talking and there's nothing, it's just like I'm looking out. And honestly, it feels like a spiritual experience. Like, wow, I can't believe the vastness of the world. You know, you're sitting there like, I'm so tiny. This is so huge.
Yeah.
All those.
I'm worth nothing, but some reason that makes me really happy.
Yeah. And I remember specifically at the Grand Canyon thinking that. And that feeling is, I think it's spiritual. Yeah, I don't really know. But I feel like someone felt that somewhere. And then they tried to like stick that every week in church. And sometimes you feel it, but most of the time people are talking in their spirit voice and you're kind of like, this feels a little forced.
Yeah, it's like you're trying too hard to make me feel the way you felt. It's
like, let's say you came back from the Grand Canyon and everyone's talking about how great it was. And then one guy's like, that was so great. Like, we should all get together and like look at that picture this Sunday. And then like feel again, oh, okay.
Like, you go and like our one buddy that I will not name that I'll tell you after who does that kind of thing all the time. I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about.
And then like you all meet on Sunday and look at the pictures of the Grand Canyon. And then next week's like, let's do it again. Let's get that feeling. Like, let's just like have pictures of the Grand Canyon everywhere. And then it's just like everything we talk about. And then we'll like pray to the Grand Canyon. Like, no, okay. Like it was a feeling.
Right.
It was fleeting. That's why it was good because
it's so rare and like fragile.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like church does that.
But is this when we clap?
Oh, yeah.
Clap, Mel.
Oh, I just lost another sponsor.
Okay, brought to you by Tenactin, Tough Actin.
Lotrim Ultra.
Beano, stay regular.
Quit staring. Vote Audrey Barron.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, sponsored by Audrey Barron.
Audrey, we coming after your funds.
What a headline for her campaign.
This just in. Audrey sponsors up and coming cast.
I seriously, that was 7th grade, and that I've thought about that at least once a year.
Yeah.
So it's been like 10. Yeah, like 2000. It's been 12 years, and that campaign has stuck with me.
Wow.
She didn't even
lady president?
She didn't lady president.
Also, speaking of prisons, I feel like people only want to talk about politics these days.
Yeah.
So when it's like a podcast or whatever it is, I just like skip.
Same.
Okay, let's get back to whatever.
I used to actually get really into it.
I'm just like over it now.
Same. And it's caused too much contention for me. It's just.
Especially with your family because you're all very different.
Yes. And like I've got like super liberal, super conservative. And so, very religious, very anti-religious. And so I find myself in the middle and I'm so sick of like the contention and the fighting. I don't mind even people having a strong opinion. It's just the timing, like just keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Like
no one really cares.
No.
Yeah.
Like the only reason why people care is to see more people like them saying what they already believe. They just want to listen to the agree train. Like, yep, that's right. Yep, that's right. Yeah. Like cheering for a cause that they all support.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do anything,
It's not. It doesn't make you like
it's
special.
Like, we're all right. We are right. They're all wrong. Yeah, they suck. And then it doesn't change anything and people just get mad. So,
back to what we were talking about, like how you said you feel like at the Grand Canyon and stuff.
Yeah.
Seriously, a huge like thing for me like that is just skiing.
Yeah.
Honestly, like this might sound whatever, but like I really feel like I've had more spiritual moments like doing an activity like that, like backpacking or like some amazing sight that I saw, or
I completely agree.
Whatever it is, like,
and it's not to say
like
that church is. It's not that church is not spiritual, but it's like sometimes it's like almost manipulated spiritual. It's like
mine aren't freaking church either. Oh, in other news, shout out Ryan Bell. Your birthday is today, my friend. Thank you, Facebook. We will be billing you, Ryan.
I totally agree. In fact, I feel like some of my most spiritual experiences have been playing basketball by myself.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like I remember when I very first started playing, like when I first started, I wasn't good at all. And then I practiced for like a straight summer, like every day.
Mm.
And I remember being alone late at night playing outside of my driveway.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of those times when you just can feel that you are better, you know, because it was such a short amount of time to improve so much.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, I could feel that I had improved. Usually it's so gradual,
Mm-hmm.
but I could tell how much better I'd gotten in one specific moment.
Hmm.
And it was like so exhilarating.
Mm.
And there was no one around. I hadn't seen anyone all day. It was like really late at night. It was like 1 a.m. and I was just shooting.
Mm-hmm.
And for some reason that was like, felt so good. Honestly, It felt like a spiritual experience, which is strange, but cool.
Yeah.
Like I just felt like I was in perfect alignment with what I wanted to be doing. Like I was doing exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah, like Uranus, Saturn,
Yes.
Jupiter.
Yes, exactly.
Greed.
And it just felt good. I don't know. I remember thinking that like, whoa, this is like the best feeling I've ever had.
Mm. Yeah, like just shoot, what was it, like a month ago?
Yeah.
I right after church, I got done at like 12. I went up just AF Canyon, just like boot packing it, skiing up there. And I took my dog with me.
Mm-hmm.
And like first off, it's like winter, right? So you don't get outside a ton, and it's pretty rare that it's sunny and nice.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But it had like snowed 2 days before, and then it was just perfectly sun and awesome. So I took her up there with me, and I just like have my headphones in, just bump into some reggae, and the weather is just so warm and it's just so nice. And then I hike like 3 or 4 miles up, put my skis on, hike down, and Kona, my dog, is just like loving it. She's just like, and like the sun is like coming down, and it was just like so beautiful. And I'm like, yes, like I just like want to chase this exact feeling all the time with whatever I'm doing.
Uh-huh.
Or like another one was like a huge one for me was me, Keaton, Mike, Jacob, and Levi and Diesel. We all actually, I don't think Jake was there. Anyways, we all went to Glacier National Park, and so the plan was to be there for a couple days, come down and come down to Rexburg for the eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go up there. Glacier was beautiful, like super fun. And then we come down for the eclipse, and Wyatt had just had his baby. So Cannon was like 2 months old, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like way stoked just to see Cannon, because I'm like, oh, first nephew, like awesome. Wyatt, yeah, his wife, great. Ooh, it's gonna be great. I don't really care for space because it's mind blowing, as we all know. But like I want to see my nephew and my family, right? So I was like, oh, eclipse, whatever. That's like, who cares about that? But then like we were like outside. We tied ties around our eyes to like to get them adjusted so our pupils were bigger, so we could like see it better. Or so I don't remember what the purpose was. Anyways, so it like the moon started going in front of the sun, and I took off my thing, and it was so crazy. Like it was as if you just took like the dimmer and you just went down. But it was like this weird, like bluish light.
Yeah.
So like an Instagram filter over like
the
all
world
of existence, which was crazy.
Yeah.
And we were all just like, oh, and it hadn't been all the way over yet. And then we like it goes all the way over, and I'm just like looking at this thing, and it honestly was the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it was just beyond beautiful. Like it looked like a giant fiery like cat's eye like in the sky, and I was just like blown away by this, because I just started bawling my eyes out, and all the guys are of course teasing me, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like I can't even believe how amazing this is. Like it was so incredible, and I totally felt like man, existence and life is just so fragile. Like it was covered. The sun was covered for like 2.5 minutes or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the temperature went down like something like 12 degrees and that quick. And it was like dark. And I was just like, man, like I'm like I don't even matter compared to like how the universe works, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, and everything is just so fragile and perfect that it's like, there's no way to me that there can't be a God, because this all just didn't happen by happenstance. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I totally think it's like, no, like someone set this up like perfectly, and it was just like so amazing, and just like reaffirming like, man, like God cares about us. He made this everything so perfect and beautiful just for like us to appreciate it. And like he could kill us like that. And you know, it was just like, it was freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
And it's very different to feel it as opposed
Mhm.
to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're actually there and you see the eclipse or you see the Grand Canyon, that you don't know even why, like what about it makes you feel that way.
Right.
You know, like, is it because I'm small? Is it like, is it because it's so big? Is it because it's vast?
Right.
But it gives you a feeling that is crazy. Like I remember when we hiked Timp, leaving Timp, and we're looking over both sides. And I also think that it has to do with you just did something hard. Because I've noticed that usually if it's a hike and then at the end of the hike, because I had to go through the hike to get there,
Right.
the top feels even better than if I would just appeared on the top. But like when we got to the top of Timp,
It's a metaphor for life.
Yeah, like when we got to the top of Timp, like we'd been sweating and it was dark, so we
Mhm.
could see literally nothing the whole
Right.
time. I'd never been up there.
Yeah.
And so then when we go up there, finally it's no longer dark. So I can see what I've been walking on this whole time, which
Right.
behind me is a beautiful view. And then on the other side is a beautiful view. And then the sun comes up. I remember thinking, like, this is, you like instantly forget the hike.
Yeah. How
You
hard
know?
it was. Like, oh, I'm so tired or whatever.
I've heard actually women
I
have
gotta
that.
ditch this hat. Also, it's
Smart.
green eggs.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's like my best fitting hat. That's why I wear it all the time.
That's funny. I know I do that with Active hats too, actually. I know I heard about this with women when they're pregnant, that when they have the baby, there's an actual hormone that releases that makes them basically forget how hard the pregnancy was.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly what it's
Whoa.
called, but Maddie was telling me about it, and this girl I work with was telling me about it too.
Mm.
And so, like, they see the baby, they have the hormones and these feelings and chemicals related to the fact that they just gave birth, and it like makes them forget.
It makes me like, okay, it was all worth it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Speaking of, like, Cass, she seemed like she hadn't even had a baby, like the day after.
Yeah.
She wasn't in pain. She was just cruising.
Dang.
It was the craziest thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and her baby's way cute.
Yeah, it
Shout out
depends.
Cooper.
Shout out Cooper.
Yeah, he's way cute. But like another time like that, it was with Diesel, and we started on the Idaho side and we hike up. So the plan was to hike up and over the Tetons, and then my dad was going to pick us up at the park.
Uh-huh.
And this is like a 26-mile hike, and we had our big backpacks on and stuff. So we're going to do half of it and find somewhere to camp, and then do half the rest day, and they're going to pick us up. But we like got really lucky because like, so it was like 2.5 weeks before we went.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a huge avalanche on the Wyoming side.
Yeah.
So, which is the more popular side because that's where the park is. So they weren't allowing anybody to come up the trail that we went up. And so we hike up and we get to, we started out later, which we planned on starting at like 8 in the morning, but we didn't start out until like noon. So we're like, oh crap, we gotta like hustle to get a good spot before dark and all this. Anyways, so we get up there and we get right to the Grand Teton Peak right as it's sunset. And it was a hard hike with our heavy backpacks and all that. But it was just like so pretty. It was just like this really glowing like pink hue, and it was just amazing. And me and Diesel were just like, dude, like, thank you so much. Just like, hug me, you big lug. And it was so pretty. And then we camped right there under the freaking Grand Teton, which was amazing, which you're supposed to have a permit for, which we didn't know that. So good thing it was closed on the other side. But we saw like 4 people that whole time. And it was another like life-changing, like, whoa, like that was so amazing.
Yeah. I remember this one moment, again, a really insignificant moment, when we were sitting in the car before our missions.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like me, you, Mike, Keaton, Jacob, probably Kyle, Jordan. I don't really remember. And we were driving, I think from the drive-in or to the drive-in. Doesn't really matter. And nothing special happened. I just remember we were sitting there and the came on.
Oh, yeah.
And we just like started singing it. And I remember just thinking like, I am so happy right now. You know? That's like a weird moment to feel that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially considering that I heard that song on my mission and was like, like, F me, I cannot believe I'm here walking around in Brazil. And it took me back to that moment. And I just remember sitting in the car and like looking around, like, oh my gosh, these are like my favorite people in the world. And we can just do anything. We don't have any responsibility. Like
to have fun.
Just like have fun. We all like each other. There's no drama. We're just singing a song. And I don't know, it's kind of that like playful, just being young and just sitting there. I remember singing it. I'm like, this is so great. I don't feel insecure. Yeah. I don't feel stressed.
It's like you're just like floating.
Yeah. It's just like floating.
Of goodness.
Yeah. And those only come every once in a while, I think, for good reason, because like if they happen all the time, then they wouldn't feel as special. But when they do happen, it's I don't know, like it makes you feel like, oh, okay, so this is why I'm here. Mm-hmm. Just like to feel stuff like this.
Yeah. Dude, I like a time that happened to me was like when we were going on our missions like the next day. Yeah. And he slept at my house. And it was like all the dudes, and then like half of them left and half of them stayed, and we're just all kind of like crying or whatever. And then that half leaves, and it's just me and you, and we're going to sleep, and we're like, I can't go inside, dude. Like we're just like bawling, and just like it's so funny to think about now, because like I was like way just like, oh, like what does the future hold? Like, am I gonna see this dude again? Like, is he gonna like be safe on his mission? Like, this guy like has meant like so much to me. Like, and it's gonna suck, but I know like it's better for like both of us. But so that was like a moment where it's like, man, I don't like want to stop crying in the front yard, like with my best friend, just like,
yeah. I remember that, and it was like me, you, and Keaton for a while, and then Keaton left.
And
it's very rare that you can be aware that you're like in a defining moment, you know, because we knew that was after that. Literally the next day, it was never going to be the same. We're going to be gone for 2 years, and then college, and then marriage, and that was kind of like this last night of being young. You know?
And I remember you had kind of brought it up a couple times. You're like, oh yeah, this is like probably the last time I'm going to like see all my buddies. And I felt like that was true, but I just like didn't want to. I know, it was so fun or whatever. But I'm like, he's probably right. But I just hope he's not right. But everything like works out. It's all good.
You find different things when you get older, but you can't really have that again. Like there's so many good memories. I feel like we jam-packed like 15 normal like adolescent years into our like 4 years of adolescence, because I think back, there's so many things. We were so active, like every night, every single night, like every weekday and weekends, like, you guys, like, let's go do this, let's go do this, let's go do this.
And not only that, but it was like, okay, what can we do this weekend to like top last weekend?
Yes. And then like, even within the same day, we're like, oh my gosh, that was crazy. What do we do now?
What's next?
And things just got crazier and crazier. And like, oh my goodness. I remember when when the sprinklers would come on and hit the car when we were driving way back when, and we'd all be like, it's blood!
That was so
and like
fun.
Go crazy and run out and get in it. Blood! And like, didn't make any sense.
No, not at all. And it was like Desa and Mariah and the other friend, I forgot her name.
Tiffany?
And, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Stiff Tiff.
Shout out to Tiffany.
My dog. But yeah, when we were going through like by the developmental center, and we're going to that like statue that moves or whatever.
Yeah. Where the heck is that statue? It's gone.
I have no idea.
Me and Maddie went. It's just gone.
That thing is actually scary. Plus the lurking, developmenters. Then we hadn't even got to the thing yet, but we were already kind of spooked. It's like, our nightly mission is to get scared or whatever. Then we're just driving. We're driving your huge van, of course. Bless that van.
Bless
That has
the
treated us
natural
so
gas van.
well.
It was like Tealcoy's.
Yeah, the hotel koi CNG. That thing was so awesome.
75 cents a gallon.
Oh yeah, that thing was amazing. And so we're like driving through, like, where is this thing? And then the sprinkler like hits the freaking windshield, and you just shout out like, blood! And then the girls were just like, ah! And then since they're freaking out, everyone's like, cool, let's join in. Ah! Oh my heck.
And like when
and then what is our like reaction to get out of the van and just run from each other? Oh man,
I don't know. There's like this weird thing that it's impossible to recreate when we're all together. That's just like this energy where anything goes.
Yeah, it's like pretty dangerous actually.
Yeah,
It's like, oh yeah, let's get butt naked in and out, you know, like.
yeah.
Oh, sure. Let's moon these families. Like, let's butt nut salute all these families at Sonic. Like 15 guys, you know?
Yeah, it's like, should we
man.
just like go over and try and pants those cops? Like,
Yeah.
Sure, it could be a felony, but dude, that'd be so
But
sick.
dude, I'm unstoppable. Am I right?
And then everyone else, of course, is just hype beast. Dude, get him!
Oh, dude, especially when we got Old Storm with us.
Oh my
just
gosh.
hyping it.
Okay, I just realized, remember when we're like, would always ask Storm to take the picture?
Stormer Zach Wilson. Those guys, there's a special place in heaven for them.
They're so kind.
That's so fun.
I haven't seen Zach in a long time.
I saw him the other day. He still walks on his tippy toes.
He's still super buff.
Not as buff, but he's still buff.
Yeah, he's a buff guy.
Hey, buff guy.
It's one of those guys that now that we're older, like when we were younger, I could see him being an old man. Because he had kind of like the cadence of a bishop when he talked.
Yeah.
And now that we are older, it's just like, yeah, I've always known you'd be an older guy.
Yeah, I saw this 10 years ago. Speaking of older dudes, like, I think it's so funny. There's been multiple things in my life where, like, okay, no offense, Wyatt, but
Wyatt,
you were kind of a dork growing up, dog. Fight me.
Turn it down.
Fight me, dude.
You change the channel, right? Things are heating up in the box.
Get your wife out the room.
Get out the box.
Burn the list. But like, I'm like, oh, why would you want like camping stuff for Christmas, dude? Like, look at my cool basketball shoes and my Jordan shorts, or whatever, or whatever it is. I don't know. All his like dork things that I thought were dorky or nerdy or whatever, like those have become like my favorite things. Yeah, it's so weird.
I know.
And it's not like it's my dad either. I think it's weird that it's my older brother. Yeah, it's like I've always wanted to be like, oh, I'm not like my older brother. He was kind of dorky in high school or whatever. But I like just live my life and I end up just liking those exact same things. He was right. Way earlier.
Yeah, like I remember when he liked photography.
Yeah.
When we were young.
And dude, he was making YouTube videos forever ago.
Was he? Really?
Yes, him and freaking Cody.
Are you serious?
About like guns.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they would like go out and shoot guns and whatever.
Really?
And they actually made some money off of it. They made like $150.
What?
From the views people watch, yeah.
Dang, how many views?
That's what I said.
Holy crap.
Or like camping stuff, or like just like all that stuff. I'm like, dang it, like his brain was just one ledge above this whole time. Yeah.
I heard this quote the other day that said, this is kind of not related. It's like the same thing, but in a negative way. Mm-hmm. It said, people always they live their life chasing their dreams until they decide to give up and become their dad.
Oh, that's funny.
And I was like, that's kind of true.
That's funny.
Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go like, I don't know, be an actor, be in the NBA or whatever. And then eventually you kind of get a reality check. Yeah. Like, oh, what does my dad do again? All right, I'll just do that.
Yeah, like he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
He's happy. I'll just do that.
And it's not, it's a positive and a negative. The negative is that like you give up on, so a lot of people give up on their passion because they're just like, oh, well, I'll just like do what he did. And I don't want to have these interests anymore. And that's why you see like depressed old people. But the other thing too, is that people find joy in a lot of more simple things, you know, than they thought they needed to be something when they were young. They thought they needed to be in the NBA or play college basketball or, you know, be like an actor. But then you grow up, like I can like those things, and find joy in normal things,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
like having a family or, you know, like just playing outside, going on hikes.
Yeah. Or like even I have the same thing with like my mom too, where I'm like, man, the older I get, like I realize I'm way more like my mom than I thought I was. Like, with watching movies, for example, like I rarely watch any movies at all. This is the things I watch. I watch Red Bull TV for like action sports documentaries or any other type of documentary.
I love
documentaries. That's like nature or like cooking or something like that. Or like The Office or Arrested Development. That's like basically all I watch. And The Bachelor.
Oh, Bachelor.
What up, Pete? You sucker.
Batch Nash.
Babe
Nash.
But a huge part of that is not because I don't like movies, but it's just because like I just like can't handle like heavy movie stuff. Like if it's like really gory or like sexual or whatever, I'm like, I can't handle this. And my mom never ever would watch anything like that. Or she would like run up and hold the blanket and people are like kissing or whatever. I'm like, man, I'm like my mom, where I just like, I can't handle that stuff, which I feel like it's good for me because it conserves my brain a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
But it's so funny. Or like, dude, as of late, I've just like, my mom taught me like embroidery when I was like in 5th or 6th grade. But as of like the last probably like 3 or 4 years, I've like really gotten into embroidery and like I love it so much. It's like it's almost like as much fun as like playing basketball was when you're younger, because it's like I'm exhausted, I'm tired, but I just don't want to stop because I'm having such a good time. Like last night, for example, it was so fun, but it was me and I was doing my embroidery. Sophie was like working on a craft with like felt balls, and she made dank banana bread. Hit her up, bake sale 2020. And then my mom was working on a cross stitch, and Levi was doing like, it's really cool. He's just like found this like tree branch and he's like braiding it, and it's like this cool design with all this like braided like rope or whatever you want to, like strings off.
I saw a picture today of a tree that was braided as it was growing.
Oh,
and
I
so
saw one of those.
Grew
at
up
Costco.
like all braided, and it was super cool.
Yeah, they're way cool. But we were just all doing our craft, just like joking around, having a good time. And I had my biology stuff I had to study for and the test the next day. And I stayed up till like 1 last night. Didn't do any biology, none of that. But I was just like so into my embroidery stuff. I really want to show you because it's.
Do you have it?
Yeah.
You can go grab it.
It's on my cart. Let me grab it.
Yeah.
That'd be so funny if you like, if you invited like Joe Rogan to do your podcast, because it's like, I mean, it's like you're just learning how to do it, right? And you don't have like a place where you can do it. What up, Joe? If you're not busy,
Joe.
Do you listen to Joe Rogan's podcast?
Yeah, actually, I do. I listen to it quite a bit
because everyone I talk to like says all these other podcasts all listen to Joe Rogan. All like my buddies, Joe Rogan. I've never really listened to it.
You know why Joe Rogan is so good? It's not because Joe Rogan himself is good.
Because his guests are sweet.
Because he's really good at getting people to talk. So he gets all these. Actually, that's probably my podcast inspiration, because he brings people on his podcast and they talk about like random stuff. He had Lance Armstrong on his podcast, or Alex Honnold, right?
Yeah, dude, he's beast.
He was on his podcast, and Alex, let me make sure. Paranoid kids. Check the road twice before you drive.
For all the kids watching.
For all the kids watching.
I feel like we're like streaming live on Facebook.
Might as well be. I was gonna say, so he had Alex Honnold on his podcast, and I was listening to it, and they're talking about like how if you're a vegetarian or a vegan for a moral reason, then eating crustaceans or mussels is actually more moral than eating plants, because they have less of a nerve than plants.
Interesting.
They feel less pain, apparently. Something I never would have thought of, but something I never would have thought Alex Honnold would want to talk about. And he knows a ton about it. Yeah. And that's why Joe Rogan is so good, is that, like you'll get, Alex Honnold on and people are like, so what's it like to be a great climber? And Joe Rogan just talks
like the
about
obvious thing.
Right, exactly. So every Alex Honnold interview is basically like one of 50 questions that he's answering the same way. Yeah. But then he gets people on there and they're just talking about like random cool stuff. You should listen. I think you'd really like it.
Yeah. The only one I was working with Austin Measles and like Weston Price and those guys.
Yeah. For
Austin Measles Company. Summit Log Homes, greatest in the business.
Subscribe.
And we listened to the Joe Rogan with the dude who like used to work at Area 51 or whatever.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
To that one?
No.
It was really interesting, but also at the same time, like, who's to say that this guy's telling the truth and whatever? Right. So it's kind of like, it's the
stuff still interesting.
It's interesting, but it also just like, well, he could just be like blowing smoke up my, you know what? But yeah, that's the only one I've listened to. But dude,
I like it.
Heard of, go ahead.
I was just going to say, he's got like a lot of different types of people. Yeah. He has very liberal people, very conservative people, like MMA. And then he has poets and comedians. He's got, I like it a lot. Actually.
So there's a good variety.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Chad and JT? Like going deep with Chad and JT?
You might have told me about that. Is it the comedy one?
They're so funny. Like they kind of do a similar thing where they have like guests who are like they had the X Games announcer on, and then they have like different authors on. They just had a guy who was a filmmaker who made this documentary about, it's called like Finding the Lost City of the Monkey God or something. Huh. So they kind of have guests on. It's not every time, but here and there. But they're just like surfer bros, and they're just like so funny. It's like, it honestly is like us if you took us back to high school, but they're like all in their like early 30s, and they talk about dongs and like stuff all the time. It's so funny, and they just seem like cool dudes. And the cool thing I think is like they're that old, but they're all just still like best buddies. Yeah, it's really cool. It's not like informational really at all, but it's just like something if you're kind of feeling like, I don't know, if you're not having the best day, you just want to laugh or something. Like that's what it is. Versus like, on the opposite end, the other ones that I listen to is like a whole bunch of TED Talks, like TED radio hours. Yes. I love listening to TED Talks.
You listen to like 3 or 4 of those in a row and you feel like enlightened. I can do anything. Yeah, you feel confident. Ever. Yeah. One of the coolest moments for me around I go home from my mission, I'd never really like just listened to stuff for long periods of time because I never really had a chance to. Yeah. And I was working at Little Adventures, slinging some deals for those princess dresses.
Very cool. We have a lot of sponsors on this.
I know. Episode. We're gonna be rich. Yeah. And so I had just spent hours by myself. So I just put the headphones in. And I was like, well, what am I gonna listen to? So I'd listen to music in the beginning, but like I get kind of sick of music for too long in a row, especially if I don't have a lot of music.
And it's kind of just like a headache after.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, yeah, okay, this is taking my emotion. And so I just like went to this playlist that was the top 20 most viewed TED Talks.
Oh, cool.
And I just pressed play and I listened to the top 20 and they were about random things I never would have thought of. Yeah. And it seriously like changed my life. Yeah. 20 of them, they're each like 20 minutes. So it's pretty long time it took me to listen to them. Yeah. But it was so good. Seriously, it was like one about motivation, one about education, one about like by Tony Robbins, which was super cool. Yeah. And then also random ones. Like one of my favorite ones was this lady. She's a neurosurgeon, or maybe not a surgeon, but like she studies the brain, and she has a stroke. And she studies strokes. I think I've heard
this one.
It's so
and she has one, so she diagnoses herself as she's having
it, and she describes what it's like, and she's like, I have these like primitive claws, and I try to speak and like just like these sounds I've never heard. Yeah. And I remember listening to that. I never would have clicked on that. Yeah. You know? Seriously. Because it was like, I think it was called.
That's not anything that like draws my attention that I'm interested in.
It's just like a picture of this lady with a brain, and it says a stroke of genius or something. But since it played automatically, I played it and I remember listening to it. This is so amazing. Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is insane.
That's cool.
And that's kind of, I think, part of the reason why something like Joe Rogan, where you'd never kind of know where it's going, is so fun to listen to because it's just.
And it's cool that it's like the same format, but it's so different every time.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Chad and JT, there's some different stuff and there's different jokes and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's all pretty similar.
Yeah.
in like relation to that, but it's really funny.
Yeah.
I'll have to find like the best one that I think is the best and send it to you. But that like makes me think about, it's like, I feel like I kind of like, you said this a long time ago and I was like, I think I need to like adopt that, because that's like actually really cool. You said something about just like, I don't remember exactly how you put it, but it was like just being like the Dos Equis man, right? Where it's like you're just good at everything. That's how I feel like TED Talks, like you have knowledge like about everything, no matter what it is. That's what TED Talks do. But it's like, I totally want to be the dad to like my kids that like we can go gardening and then we can go in the shop and do woodworking and then we can go play basketball and then like we can do embroidery or then we can like do whatever. Like I just want to be able to have all, or play the banjo or whatever, just add all these like skills to my arsenal. Just like I'm that dude in the neighborhood who knows how to do everything.
Yeah, who has big calves.
Yeah, who has huge calves. He can bust out a bunch of pull-ups when he's 50 still.
I seriously,
His brain is just mega mind.
I really do think about that all the time. There's my bishop when I was a kid. His name is Chris Romney. And he has these massive calves. And he's just a cool guy. He's like a super rich doctor. We would go on the 50 miler and he would swim every morning. And he had these massive calves and super
Most
built.
importantly,
And
the calves.
yeah, and he was, and I remember thinking like, I want to be this to someone when I'm older.
Yeah.
Because I looked up to him so much because he was so cool. And I was like, one day I'm going to be like the, scout leader or whatever, who's like cool and buff and has a hot wife.
Right.
And
who can like go in the front yard and plant cute little dainty daisies, but also can go on a 50-mile
squat and like run really far. And I seriously think that is so cool. And whenever I'm around people like that, it's hard to describe, but I like love being around people like that.
Yeah.
It's inspiring.
The big thing is like they're always just trying to learn something different and challenge themselves. Like yoga, like people say, oh, it's like a girly thing, but like, and I had never really done it, but like I love yoga so much.
Just insecure people that they want to be seen as a certain thing. Yeah. So they're like, oh, if I do yoga, then I'm not seen as the cool guy, or if I embroider, I'm not the tough guy. I want to be seen as the jock, and then they end up, first off, looking like an idiot. They don't look cool, and they miss out on a ton of really cool, fun stuff they could have done. Like,
I want to be like the interesting guy. You know, like there's a lot to this guy knows how to do a lot of stuff. He probably has a lot of cool stories, and he can like teach me some stuff. Yeah, like that's the guy I want to be to like little neighbor kids or my own kids or my wife or whatever.
And like, it's so also cool. The guy who is that, but is not show offy about it. Right. Yeah. And you just are always kind of like, what is he like? There's like some, award activity, and all of a sudden you find out that he knows everything about plants, and he never talks about it. And you're like, who is this guy? Where did he get all this random skill? Seriously. That would be like kind of like a New Year's resolution thing. Like, okay, like this year, I really want to learn how to plant an awesome garden. Yeah. So that's one of my goals. And now I'm going to add that to like my quiver of like cool skills. Yeah. Because I think it's amazing. Like, and I feel like these days it's like my grandpa, he can basically do anything. He has knowledge about everything. And yeah, a lot of that comes with just like he's had a lot more life experience. But also it's like, for example, it's like even compared to like when we were younger, but like we were playing basketball all the time, like on competitive AAU and whatever, right? Yeah. And it's like, well, okay, that's great, but like, what did we really get from that? We like made some friends, we had some exercise, and yeah, we probably like faced adversity and all the cheesy stuff they say when they get like build character or whatever. Yeah. But it's like, what am I doing with those things that I learned then now versus like, so we just like spend so much time on that versus like kind of diversifying ourselves. Yeah, being too specialized. Yeah, like our grandpas, my grandpa started a steel company. He knew how to weld, any type of household stuff, like businessman, like all that kind of stuff. My other grandpa, same thing. Like they just like were jacks of all trades, Yeah. Which I think is like super cool. Cause like, I do not want to be the dude who like, I got to fork out this much money to solve this problem. That's like so easy if I just had the knowledge to like
fix my toilet or whatever.
Especially nowadays that knowledge is free. You can go
like
on YouTube and learn anything. Like when our car, when we got a flat tire, I had never changed a tire. I actually missed that day of driver's ed as well. Ironically, because I got in a car accident.
Scouts.
Yeah, I got in a car accident that day with my brother, so I missed the day that we learned how to change a tire. Me and Maddie, like our car broke down and the tire exploded and I had to change it.
Yeah.
And it was actually really satisfying. It's just like, go on YouTube, learn it. And like, I didn't realize that as this little part way in the back of my brain that was insecure that one day this was going to happen. Yeah. And now I know. And actually, on the trip I went this weekend, our brand new rental car, tire exploded.
Oh, dang.
It was me and this lady we had to pick up, my dad, and I was like, thank goodness for YouTube. I know how to do this.
Seriously. And it's like skills like that, like it's not like life threatening, but it's like it'll help you out a ton. Yeah. If you just learn how to do it.
And it just makes you feel confident.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel good to know stuff.
Yeah. Or you have like, you're not like worried on a road trip, like, oh, what if I get a flat tire? Like, oh, whatever. Which is my car. I just found this out the other day. So I have a spare tire, but the trunk is too small. So
you have to have it shipped from Amazon?
Yes. A stork flies it in. So it's deflated and it comes with a compressor. And then you have to pump it up and then put it on.
Really?
So if I ever get a flat tire in this, I'm like, I'm calling AAA because I don't think I know how to do that.
Or just hold up, like just take the tire off and hold that side and then just walk it.
Like prop it on my foot. Yeah.
If you lose a tire, does your car still balance? Like, can you still drive with 3 wheels?
I don't think so.
I kind of figured you couldn't, but oh my gosh, when we were...
But you never know unless you try.
Well, let's do it.
End of podcast.
I got a car outside. It was funny because we were driving and it was really windy.
Driving is funny.
Yeah, it was hilarious. We were just driving around and it was really windy and we heard this loud, it sounded like a rock hit the window, like boom. I'm like, what the? I'm like, oh, that was so weird. What was that? And then nothing happened. So like, okay, just kept driving. And then right then it said tire pressure low. Like, beep, 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 beep. Like, oh, okay, that's weird. Yeah. And then we just kept driving. Like, wow, it is so windy. And I was driving and I was like, it is like so windy. Holy crap, it's windy.
And then a tornado.
And then like, wow, it's windy and the road is so bad. It's like, and then pretty soon, like, and then we put 2 and 2 together. My college education finally kicked into gear.
Trees aren't moving.
Inertia is a property of matter. We're missing a wheel. And then we pulled over and it was so bad.
Yeah. Just shredded.
It was not just, it was like when I tried, so I took the wheel off and I set it to the side.
Like a boss.
And then I was thinking, crap, it's going to roll away. And so I like looked to go get it and it's just, the bottom is completely flat. So it didn't even move. I couldn't even push it. Actually, I had to pick it up because it was so flat. I was like pushing a block of ice. Yeah. Which would actually be pretty easy. This was really easy. Freak. Oh no. My wordplay is coming back to get me.
No.
Did I set the alarm? I was so paranoid. 3 minutes.
Okay. But like it'd be just cool. Also, it would save you so much money too. You know, to learn all these different things. Yeah. Which is awesome. That's why like installing cabinets was super cool. Doing the finished cabinetry was cool. Selling art was cool. Like I learned
making chow mein was cool for me actually.
Yeah, I learned like how to talk to people like a lot better.
You know what you should do is get more into real estate because you like traveling.
Did you ever get your license?
No.
Sorry to call you out.
No, I didn't get my license. I don't remember what happened actually. But you know, I didn't get it. It's like right when I was about to get married and I ended up not doing it. Buy low, sell high. And like, but you'd like it because it's like you could travel.
Location.
You also don't need, like, you're more hands-on and you don't really like, you don't like school, right? Like you don't like classes. You can get a real estate license super easy, but in order to be good at real estate, you would have to like be out looking at houses. You could flip houses.
That'd be cool.
You'd probably be really good at that.
That'd be really cool.
And it's super lucrative.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But yeah, like that's like a thing. Like, you know, not only can you save money, but you can potentially earn money. Like with this embroidery stuff, I would love to like try to sell something.
You should.
Or with photography, sell prints or sell whatever. But I also don't kind of want to do that because like everybody wants to do that. So which sounds lame. Like, oh, I don't want to do that. Everyone else is.
That was part of the reason why I didn't want to do this. Because I was like, oh, am I going to be that guy? Another guy who's like trying to be famous or something?
Right.
And eventually I realized that fear of the stigma finally over a year, because I waited a year to use it, was smaller than how fun it was to listen to him. I'm like, whatever. Even if I am that guy, I enjoy listening to him so much that I'll just do it anyway.
Yeah. But yeah, like it'd be cool. Let me show you this bad one. How's that for a segue?
Hey, still got it after all these years. Oh, dang.
Right?
That's sweet.
Yeah. It's not done, obviously, but.
Show it to the cam. That's what I call the camera.
You are cam. You are Mike.
Yeah, dude. It's been
dang, that's awesome.
It's cool.
Did you design it? Like, where do you get the design?
So I saw the tree, similar tree just on like Pinterest. And I was like, that is so awesome. And I'm just gonna do my own little twist on it, but kind of like the similar layout. And yeah, this is probably taking me like, shoot, I don't even know, like 12 hours.
I really like how you use different types of yellow.
Yeah.
Instead of just the one. I think that makes it look really cool.
Yeah, same. I'm like,
awesome.
I'm super happy how it turned out.
I remember the one that you did start. I don't have to check this again. I started it. Of the arches.
Oh yeah.
That one was super cool.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. Cause like me, I love this stuff. It makes your thing like super. How many jackets have you seen? Like denim jackets with the sheep wool thing.
Right.
Everybody and their mom has one of those. But with like a custom little thing, like I think it's pretty cool.
I think it's so cool. I really do.
Like that arch one, I wear that pretty often. And a lot of people are always like, dude, like that's so cool. And then
they should sell that.
I know, they think I just like bought it like that. Like it was an iron-on or whatever. Just bought it at, freaking Anthropology like that or something. I'm like, oh, like, yeah, I actually did it. They're like, oh, no way. So I think it'd be so cool to like bust out a bunch of these and like try to do like a farmer's market or something.
You could sell that for sure online for a ton. Like way more than, so how much does a jacket cost? Just if you buy the jacket.
So this jacket was like, it was like $50 just for the jacket. But I've put like, I don't know, probably 10 to 12 hours in this one. Also, this is like a new thing for me. Like these knots, these are all just individual knots. So I've never done this before. So it's kind of a learning curve too.
I think that looks awesome.
Yeah. And then like I have to switch the colors and everything, which is kind of hard. But like, I don't know, because it's hard. Because it's like this one, I probably won't ever sell this because it's like mine and I really love it.
Yeah.
But at the
same
time,
you wash it?
Yeah, you can wash it. It's fine. At the same time, if like somebody offered me like actual good money for it, I'll be like, oh, okay, like I love it, but
yeah,
all right. But like, it's hard because $50 for the jacket, and then I'd have at bare minimum like $10 an hour for stitching it.
Oh yeah.
So that puts it at like $170. I
bet for sure someone would pay for that. I'm dead serious. If you brand it in such a way that seems like a premium thing, like you walk into,
that's why I said Anthropology, because like they have amazing stuff.
Or you walk into Gucci or Louis Vuitton and there's like this backpack and it's $3,000, and like, well, maybe it's more expensive material, whatever. Maybe it's handmade, but it's not the cost of labor. It's just how much emotion it brings someone.
Right.
I seriously bet you could sell that for $300.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
If you created a brand and like you made everything about your, like if you had an Instagram that had a lot of followers and you took really good pictures and people knew who you were, and then you went to a farmer's market.
Right.
And they're like, hey, I've seen you on Instagram.
Right.
When that kind of thing happens, people would pay big money for that.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Like with Maddie,
It's like another thing. It's like, oh, I want to be that guy who's trying to get followers and whatever and make money off social media. But it's like, well,
if you like it,
just try it.
I've struggled with that for so long, and it's in my own head, like because I judge people in that way.
Right.
I judge myself. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do a podcast. I don't want to be a YouTuber. Like that's the dumbest sounding thing ever. And so it took me forever to get over that. And then honestly, I don't know. The older I get, I'm like, there's so many people that I'm friends with on Facebook that I would feel bad if they left a negative comment that I actually don't give an F about in real life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't really care if this guy likes me. Like, just do it, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
I don't know. Like, you're going to look back when you're 30 and like, oh, dang, I should have tried that.
I know.
You know.
And it's like, I mean, I don't ever see this like as being like a career or anything.
Right.
But if it's like a side hustle thing, like, cool, that's awesome. But it's like silly because it's so much better to look back and be like, dang, I tried that and it didn't work. It's whatever versus.
I wonder if I could have done that.
Yeah, it's way more painful.
I think about that all the time.
Yeah.
I wonder how many things I'm not letting myself do because I'm secretly like, oh, I don't want to look like an idiot. I don't want to try because then I'll look bad.
Right. Or like, I don't want to conform and be like everybody else. And it's like, yeah, you should try to be your own person, but it's like, also it's like, dude, like, shut up. You are like everybody else. You know?
Yeah, I know. Stupid. Well, that's the thing. I'm not trying to be cool on Instagram like everybody else. And what's everybody else saying? I'm not trying to be cool on Instagram like everybody else. Like, oh, so you're not trying to be cool, just like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, whatever you do, you're conforming to someone. So you might as well do what you like. You know?
Yeah, I've told Danon so many times, like, he's an amazing artist.
Yeah, he is. I wish this freaking thing was here.
I know.
This could be the art show.
Screw that. But he's so good. And I've told him so many times. And I'm like, dude, honestly, you are the biggest idiot ever if you don't make a lot of money on your art because it's so good.
It is so good. It is amazing.
Have you met our friend who also does the stipple stuff like Danon does? Nick Spectrum is his name.
No, I don't think so.
Well, or that's his account, his Instagram. Anyways, he does the same thing. And he's really good too. And dude, he's like funded. He's been in Southeast Asia for like 3 months because he's just made so much money off his art. He quit his full-time job.
Dang.
He just does like booths and stuff and just sells a whole bunch of stuff. And he's just the coolest dude.
Yeah.
And same thing with him. He's like, yeah, like I wanted to forever. And then I was just like, finally, like, I'm just going to go for it. And if I fail, like I fall on my face, but you know, at least I tried and I like have confidence in myself that I can like do something.
Yeah.
So
it's kind of what I've been like with this.
Yeah.
Seriously, like the whole time, like telling myself not to do it, telling myself it was stupid, everyone else wanted to do it. And I just kept thinking about it and it kept coming back up.
Yeah.
And now I'm at a point where I really don't care. I intentionally made a separate Instagram so that, and I didn't tell anyone and I didn't like sponsor it till just barely I put one on my story.
Yeah.
Because I really wanted people to see it because I love that video of my grandpa.
Mm-hmm.
But I intentionally did that because I wanted to feel like I was doing it just because I wanted to do it.
Right.
Not because I wanted it to be popular or I wanted a bunch of likes. I just wanted to feel like I was doing something that I loved.
Right.
And that's what it feels like so far.
Dude, you know, a dude that I think is super cool, but I don't know much about him, who we should totally do a podcast with, is that Chris Maggio dude.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
That's a great idea. I'm going to write that down.
I'll text him because
I'm going to put that in my... He is a cool guy.
He's such a cool dude. He's like...
Putting that in here right now. I will actually reach out to him.
Knows how to do everything.
And he's got the coolest... I put Chris Maggie. I'll probably remember what that is. He's got like the coolest skill set and a really well-spoken guy. And he's nice.
Funny,
he's funny.
He's just cool.
And I mean, seriously, talk about talented. Yeah. Like he can draw so precisely that they use his drawings as like, don't they use like medical?
Yeah, for like medical textbooks.
Medical textbooks. But then he also draws like fantasy stuff like octopuses like grabbing people and he draws on surfboards. Good. That guy is cool. And he made that bus.
Yeah. dude, speaking of, at the last art show I saw him.
Uh-huh.
I think you were there.
Uh-huh.
Dude, I need to text him, see how he's doing, but they said he has like a 1.5 foot long blood clot in his leg.
Are you serious?
So doc is like, yeah, like we can't have you travel anymore. Like we're nervous. Like a piece is gonna break off and like go into your heart, and it's just gonna be bad news. So he can't like travel or anything anymore. So that bus, he's selling it, and he said he would give me the family price, $16,000 for that totally renovated van with all his custom art in there.
And you can like live in there.
Yeah, and I could like live in there, but also, dude, I was like, oh my gosh, how amazing would this be? Turn this bus into an Airbnb.
Yeah.
And people can drive it pretty much, wherever they want.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. And it's so cool too.
I think Tanner Beeston started a business hotel.
Yeah, the Element.
Hotelement or something?
Yeah, something like that.
I thought that was a cool idea.
It is like, I don't know if he still does it, because I don't see him post about it anywhere, but this is super smart
idea. It's a good idea.
Let me go grab this other embroidery real quick. Bring it down. Dude, so this one, let me tell you the backstory in this guy. So there's this professional skier.
Yeah.
And I watched this ski movie. I didn't know anything about him, but the very beginning of the movie, he has a Sprinter van.
Yeah.
And him and his buddy, they paint the whole outside with this super cool mural, and then they renovate the whole inside. And not only is it just like super functional and cool, but like it's beautiful. Like they have all this like super fancy woodwork, and they put it in the ceiling, and it's like a really fancy like compass that's like kind of like looks like Western-y print. And then they do this other one of a thing that his name's Chris Ben Chetler that he had drawn, and it's called Old Man Winter. And I'm like, I drew it once, just like copied his thing and drew it. And I was like, this is so cool. And I was like, oh, that'd be way cool if I could like stitch that into something. So that's what this dude is. And it's taken like,
oh, dang,
super forever. But I think he's pretty cool. So like,
that's sweet.
This is like his hands, like a yoga pose, right?
Yeah.
And then like,
is he floating?
Yeah. Well, this is like his huge beard, and then this is like just him like out of the ice. That's what his thing is. But
you should show that close so we can see it. Dang, that is sweet.
But yeah, this one's taken forever. And this
you drew it too?
Yeah, I drew it on there, and it was really hard to draw.
I bet you probably have to like do it a bunch of times.
Yeah. But this is one that it's like, I know if like it's gonna take the special person to see this, but they'd probably pay a lot of money for this.
Yeah.
Versus like this one is more of like a crowd pleaser.
This is one
like
that you could.
Trees,
This is one that you could like mass market. Yeah. You could make like 1 million of those and sell them as like in a shop. But this is like one that is like a novelty item where there's one of them, and that's what makes it cool.
Yeah.
I really like that a lot.
Yeah, it's taking forever, but I think I need to redo this part because, like, see how small these stitches are?
Yeah.
And these are kind of long. It just doesn't really match up. But I'm kind of hesitant to do his face because I just don't know.
Don't want to, like, screw it up.
Yeah.
I know. I did that. So when I drew that picture of my in-laws, I finished everyone except for me. And so I'd done all the faces, and it took forever. And like, I was like,
I got to spend the most time on me. I got to look the best.
When I was doing mine, I'm like, I don't even want to do it. I just wanted to leave it because it looks so good without my face in it.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just like sat there and like, okay, here we go.
All this hard work, don't screw it up now.
Seriously. And it was like anxiety. Like, crap, what if I screw this freaking thing up?
Yeah. But like, I would seriously love. That's why the internet is so cool, because like Etsy and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like, how many moms are like stay-at-home moms who are just like pumping out all this cool stuff and making really good money? Like,
why don't you just make an Instagram out of it? Don't even tell anyone. I think that's what I did with the YouTube thing, because I didn't want to like feel pressure to succeed, and I didn't want it to feel like I was trying to be cool. You know, all those weird things you go through in your head. It's like, I'll just do it for myself.
Yeah.
So I'd done it. Yeah. You know, for a while. I would just do it. Don't tell anyone. Take some pictures of it. If it feels good, maybe someday tell people. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
I
They have nothing to lose, you know?
True. I would like to. First though, I think I need to like get like, a bunch of pieces done.
Sure. Like have a line.
Mm,
Yeah.
have like, I don't know, like 5 or 6 cool things done. Well, I had the arch.
You have the arch. This one's almost done. That
This one's
guy's
almost done. That's
close.
almost done. And then I was working on this like mountain scene for Sophie. And I've done other ones in the past too, but they never have been like filled in like this. It was always just like the outline.
Yeah. I watched this TED Talk about this guy who has ADHD. And so he can only do or ADD or something. And he can only do a task for like 5 minutes. But he can do any task very focused for 5 minutes. So he just switches off and he does a bunch of random things.
Mm-hmm.
And he is like the CEO of one of the world's biggest banks, which is crazy. He's got a severe ADD and he knits. There's like some movement that is you knit. I wish I knew what it was called. And they like knit things in the world. Like, for example, they like knit a tree. So they'll find a tree, a real tree, and they'll knit around the entire thing. And he does it 5 minutes at a time.
Really?
And he has the world record. Oh, maybe I should just look it up. It's so cool. So he'll like knit a huge tree, and then they're like, okay, now we're gonna knit like a glacier, and they have this massive thing, and and now we're gonna knit, and so the world record, like now we're gonna knit, what is it? It's like some pasture or something. It's huge.
What the
It's
heck?
like 600 yards, and he made the whole thing and has the world record because he just like does it every single day for just like 5 minutes. I think he does it multiple times a day, but he never does it for longer than 5 minutes in a row.
Huh.
I wonder if I'm just gonna look it up. I want to show you because it's
'cause
super cool.
I've heard of this chick. She crochets, and she owned like a boutique or something, or maybe an antique shop. I don't know. And one day she just like, oh, I think like paint got spilled on her doorknob or something on the outside. She's like, oh, I think I'll just like crochet over that. And then so she did. And then she had tons of people ask her like, oh, what's with the crochet doorknob? And she's like, this is like a pretty cool thing. So she does like these art installments where she'll like go with like a team of crocheters and she'll like go and like crochet every stop sign like in that
so
area.
that's the same thing.
Yeah. Or
so
like she
I
did
just looked it up.
full-on bus.
It's called yarn bombing. And they just like,
oh, that's cool. The bowl in Chicago.
And they do trees and they
or Detroit.
Look at that.
Yes.
A bus.
Yes.
And that's so cool. And there's a TED Talk. Look at that.
It's so just like Wonderland funny.
I know. And it's so cool.
Like Willy Wonka.
So if I put yarn bombing TED Talk, I wonder if it'll show like his world record thing.
Yeah, this chick. That's the chick that I listened to in the TED Talk. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, there's probably multiple, but that's the chick I listened to.
That's so cool.
It's a really good one. That one I listened to it's the TED Radio Hour. Have you listened to those ones?
I don't think so.
Those ones are I actually like them way more than just the TED Talk because so they'll take like 3 or 4 people and they kind of have the same subject about like one is like the one with this chick is like art in like our day and world and how it like affects us. And they talk to this black dude, and what he does, he gets really famous like paintings, and then he like whitewashes over them, and then like brings out like the African American people and makes them stand out more because usually they're just kind of in the like background, they're not anything important in it. And so that's like what he does, and then he'll like repaint the rest of it.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then there was that chick, and then there was this other guy. Him and his buddy, they just go and they just paint murals in cities and like a bunch of Brazil. And you should listen to it because it's really good. It's super cool.
I used to go ahead.
And I like that one because it's like you get like 4 different people's perspective on like, you know, what happiness is or what peace is or whatever. Yeah. And so you kind of get both sides of like an argument, and you're not stuck for like, you know, an hour on one person or whatever. They're really good and they're super well done. Like the Guy Raz guy, do you know him? He's always on NPR. Oh, well, anyways, he narrates it and it's really good.
I used to go to this website all the time called This Is Colossal.
Dude, Wyatt sends me stuff from that. Like
that
once
place
a week.
is so cool.
Yeah.
They have amazing things. Like I remember this one where this guy it's really hard to describe. He like makes, I think, boats out of natural no, it's just not just natural materials, like big boulders or something, and he goes in and like carves boats in the middle of the forest so it looks like they're in the ocean. And he'll go and like chisel down these massive pieces of rock so it looks like this like capped boat. And like he does one, you've probably seen, there's a couple of famous ones of like ogres and stuff. He does, and they're like so huge
or whatever.
I think they're so cool. Those stuff like that.
See, there's so much art out there, and like I don't know, like especially working up in Park City, all that fine art stuff, like Picasso and stuff, and like the masters. I don't really understand that art,
right?
And I don't get it, so then I don't really like it.
Yeah.
But like, there's so much cool stuff that I absolutely love, like stuff like that. Or there's this one dude, I love his stuff so much. So what he does. It's a simple idea, but all he does is he makes collages out of magazines, right? Mm-hmm. But he'll have like 12 panes of glass that are all like an inch or two thick, and he puts these collages on the panes of glass, and they're like 6 or 7 feet tall,
and they're like thick, so it looks 3D.
Yeah, and he slaps them together, and they're all like humans, like with
those
two
are
heads.
So cool.
They're amazing.
And like you turn to the side and they kind of like move because they're 3D.
Those are so cool.
I love those. Do you see the MJ one that they did? Where
where
it was like suspended in air or something.
Like this way it's a 23, that way it's like the Jordan logo, like this way it's like his face.
It's like a shoe and one of them's like something like that.
Those
are so cool.
That kind of stuff just like boom blows my mind.
One of the things I've always loved, there's a lot of art like this, but where they get little tiny things like toast or pennies or M&Ms, and then they make a picture, but from super far away.
Yeah,
those get me every time.
Or like
those are
they
so
like used
cool.
to do that with.
How do they do that?
I have no idea.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I don't know if there's like a software program, because there's like they have that type of thing in high schools like a bunch.
Yeah, and I used to think those were so cool when I was a kid, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like where did they find this dark picture to be like Abraham Lincoln's beard?
Yeah,
and now you realize that they're just like up on top of the pictures. Yeah. But when it's toast, they have to have burned each one individually. And I saw one that was Taco Bell packets.
Oh, really?
And or no, funny. It wasn't Taco Bell packets. It was soy sauce.
Shout out Taco Bell.
It was soy sauce packets that were filled at different levels, or something like that. Huh. And so they had different amounts of color in them.
Have you seen the guy who like he'll like paint with glue, and then he'll put like black and gold and white like glitter on,
and then like pour it off,
and then dumps it all up, and it's like Marilyn Monroe.
I saw that the other day. I think probably because is it that bored panda?
Yes, dude. They have so much stuff that's awesome.
They have the coolest stuff on there.
So cool. Or like, did you see the dude who does tattoo pin on glass?
Yes, I was just watching that. I watched it right after you posted it, because I followed that because I saw you posting it. I'm like, this looks sweet.
Yeah,
and now I seriously love that.
They're so cool. And it's like random ones too, where it's like there's this way cool one with like how this one chick like paints fingernails. She like paints them and then just this like weird stretchy thing with like really old thick fingernail polish. So it's like way stretchy. Mm-hmm. And it's just like all these geometrical shapes, but it's like so amazing.
Yeah.
That's what I love about art, is like, how the heck did these people think to do this?
Yeah.
Like that is so cool.
And it's so cool because it takes so long and it takes so much skill. I was watching a documentary on Netflix. You should watch it. It's called Abstract.
Dude, I've seen that. I love that.
Have you?
I haven't seen all of them. I'm pretty sure I've seen all of them of the first season.
All of the first season?
Mm-hmm.
Like the guy who It's like in that huge warehouse, and there's lights.
The yellow.
The same guy, yeah.
Yes.
With the yellow, so there's no color.
Yes.
And so you walk in and you can't see any color. And then like
crazy.
he gets the light and you put on stuff, and then there's like the whole wall is super colorful.
Oh,
there's that same
so
guy has
cool.
one. I can't remember exactly what it is, but it's a huge room. It's like some kind of warehouse where there's beams up top, like in the structure, like in triangles or something. And then he has it hooked up in some kind of way that the light is moving. But what it makes it look like is that the room is moving, because the shadows of the beams are kind of constantly going like this because of the light way up there. And so it's
like, ooh,
I love that stuff. Or Banksy stuff. I think it's so cool.
So cool.
Did you ever watch Exit to the Gift Shop? Remember, we watched it, and then we went and tatted up
the freaking behind Smiths. Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj sucks.
Sorry for writing you out, Gabe.
Austin Rivers, baby.
Oh, the wall. Cesar Guerrero, dude.
Do it for the raza.
Freaking. Did you see the one abstract with that like?
I think I've only seen that one.
Oh, dude, you should watch the one with the architect. He's like from Belgium or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, he like makes the coolest stuff. So he designed this power plant. First off, it's like a green power plant or whatever, so it doesn't emit any harmful stuff, which is awesome.
Uh-huh.
But second, it's way cool looking, and it's like he built a they love skiing, right? But it's out by the ocean, so there's no mountains or anything there. Mm-hmm. So he built it so they could put a ski run on top of this building. So you just like zip down. It's so cool.
Dang.
Like the brains just work amazing.
Seriously.
And I'm like, it's just like, I don't know what I even think. It's like, do these people like get inspiration from like above, or were they just born like that? Or like, have they just been so trained in that?
They've been like in their own way practicing it.
Yeah. Or they're so good at this, but they're also versed at all this other stuff. So they can look at it from, this side where everybody's looking at it from here. So they have a totally different perspective.
I think it probably comes a lot from they are always doing stuff. And when they're doing stuff, it gives them other weird ideas. Because when I try to think of ideas, I can never really think of good ones. But if I'm in the middle of doing something, I'm like, oh, that's so weird. Like if I did it like this could be this could be a totally different thing. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where they get those weird ideas.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're making a power plant. Like, oh, that's so weird. Like,
yeah,
we could totally make this do a ski slope.
Speaking of weird ideas, I haven't told you my story with Sophie.
I just remembered that I was supposed to tell you a story.
Oh,
remember?
Crap, you
who goes first?
Oh no, sword fight. Dude, I'm the guest. I guess I'll go first. My bad. So this was so freaking weird. So this was like 2 weeks ago now, Saturday.
Yeah.
And it was super nice weather. We're like, cool, let's just go out for a walk.
Yeah.
She lives in Orem, close to UVU.
Yeah.
And so we just walk over to Orem State Street, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And we take a left, and we're just on State Street. And we'd been outside for like 15 minutes or something, not far away from her house at all. But there's this pawn shop, and she's like, oh, cool, like let's go check out this pawn shop. Maybe there's like a cool like chair for my room or something, or just something interesting, And so it says pawn shop, big and yellow, right? And the whole outside of the building is black. And there's just windows in the front that you can see. You can't see in any of the other windows on the side.
Uh-huh.
And the big windows in the front, there's just like a bunch of like rows of dresses. So we're like, okay, cool, let's go check this out. So we walk in there, and there's two people in there, and one is a woman, and then she's like, I don't know, mid-30s,
mm-hmm.
and the guy, he's a white dude, American.
Oh, freak.
This white like American dude who's probably like late 50s to mid 50s. The other one, she was like from like Russia or Albania. She had some thick accent like that. Mm-hmm. And so we walk in, and she's facing us, and the guy's away from us. And the guy, he just hears like the bell on the door, and he's like, "This isn't a pawn shop." Like kind of barks at us, and we're like, "Oh, like sorry." And then he turns around and like looks at us. It's just me and Sophie, and he's like, "It's an arcade." And we're like, okay. And he's like, yeah, come on, you guys want to try it? And we're like, I guess so. And I just immediately got like weird vibes because he's a lot older. She's from like Russia or something. The whole place is painted black on the inside. They have flags pulled over all the windows so you can't see in or out.
What the fuck?
And they have like a table like this, and there's probably like 6 stations around. At each station, there's a joystick and like 3 buttons. One's to push the fire button, one's to increase your bet, and one's to cash out. So we're like, what the heck? So they had that table, and then they had a TV with another similar like arcade looking thing with the joystick and whatever right here, and then they had another one over there. So we're like just weirded out. We're like, okay, I guess we'll try it. So he's like, babe, go get him $20 each, and I'll like tell him how to play this game. So she goes, gets the money. He's explaining us the game. It's called the Fire Dragon. And so the point of the game, like it looks like an app almost, just any game that you play on your phone. And so it's like you're underwater, right? And you have these little guns and you're steering them with your little turrets. And then just all these like different fish come across the screen. And you're supposed to shoot them and kill them or catch them. Uh-huh. And they're worth a certain amount of points. And
right.
And the one that worth the most is the Fire Dragon. And he's worth 500. Uh-huh. So, and then they have like little guppies. And then they have like a treasure chest. It's like 100, or, you know, like guppies are worth 5 or whatever it is. So she comes back with the money, puts it in. So each shot is worth 1 penny. So we both had 2,000 shots. Uh-huh. And so we're just like playing for a minute, kind of getting the hang of it, how to, you know, shoot them, whatever. And he's like, so the bullets are weaker when your bet is weaker. So to increase your bet and get more likelihood of getting a big one to kill it. Yeah. Then you need to up your bet. So he tells us this. So we both up it to like 10, right? And so we're both.
What do you mean? Like, so like each bullet is worth 10?
Each bullet is worth 10 cents.
Right. Okay.
So when you kill something, it's 10 cents times, you know, if you kill the treasure, it's 100. So 100 times 10. So you get $10 back into your account. Uh-huh. So you get that many shots again, right?
Right. Do you actually win money?
So, okay. So we're doing this, and we're both, there's no time limit. There's no nothing. And so we're just waiting for the Fire Dragon to come, and we're just freaking lighting this thing up, and we're both on 10. And so whoever hits him with the last bullet, that's whose account it goes into. Uh-huh. And Sophie killed it twice. So, and she was at 10. So her account, she was up to like $115, and I was up to like $34 in this thing. And the guy's like, okay, like, wow, you guys are like doing really good at this. Oh no. And he's like, you guys can like cash out if you want, or you can like keep playing. And we were just like, oh, let's keep playing for a sec. Sophie didn't really understand what he meant by cash out and all that, because it's like an arcade. And so I get down to $20, and she's like at like 95 or something. And we're like, okay, like, do you want to cash out? And she's like, okay. So he pushes the cash out button, and he's like, okay, babe, go get him their money. So she walks back, comes back with $115. And I was just thinking they gave us the money to do like a trial, like, oh, this is our game, this is how it works. Comes back with $115 and just gives it to us. We were playing the game for like 5 minutes, and we're just like, what the heck is this? And it was weird because they had like a bar thing set up with like prizes you could win because it's an arcade. And then so that was weird. And then I asked him, I'm like, so like, why do you still have the pawn? Oh, I was like, how long have you guys been here? And he's like, we've been here since September. And I was like, oh, like, why do you still have the pawn shop sign up? And he's like, oh, like the old landlords, they just didn't want us to touch it, so we just like left it there, which is total crap. He's just keeping it there to like put on that it's a pawn shop with, and all the dresses up in the front and stuff. Uh-huh. Like, it was just so weird. And the other weird thing was like this dude, he was giving like way more attention to Sophie than he was giving to me. Like hyping her up and be like, oh, you're so good. Like, and then at the end, he's like, you guys need to like come back. We'll give you more money and like bring your friends so you can like come try this out and all this stuff. And we're just like, what the heck?
What is it? I'm like so confused by that.
Yeah. And her being the chick being from like Russia or something was like really like off-putting to me. And then so we're like just weirded out, and we're walking out there because gambling's totally illegal in Utah.
Yeah.
So just that alone is just like, what? But then we're walking, and we walk like, oh shoot, I don't know, not even 100 yards yet. And there's this couple, and they're like pretty like hammered looking, probably like in their 50s, like really overweight, missing teeth. And we're just walking down, and they're kind of in their truck, like doing whatever. And the lady turns to us, and she's like, "Hey, how much money did you guys win?" And we're like, "What the heck? How did you see us in there? No one saw us go in there. How did you know we were in this place?" And to ask us how much money we got, we're just like, "This is so weird."
What on earth?
So dude, so like I just had like the weird vibes, right? Like it was so weird. So I called Justin because he's a cop, and I'm like, I tell him the story, and Justin's like, "Yeah, that totally sounds like a human trafficking like operation." And I was like, "What? Holy crap!" And he's like, "You should probably call like the Orem Police Department." So I called him, and I'm talking to this cop, and he's like, "Hey, so like, we heard something, you like went to a pawn shop, and what happened?" So I just told him this whole story, and I was like, it was just really odd, and he was giving like my girlfriend like a lot of attention, and I called my brother-in-law, and he said that sounds like this. He's also a cop, and so I just like wanted to call you guys because it was just really odd, and it just felt off. And he's like, "Oh yeah, like, so the way their like machines are set up, we can't like prosecute them because it's some weird loophole." But and I was like, "Yeah, it just felt like some weird thing and whatever." And he's like, "But like we definitely like are watching that place, and we have our eyes on it." And he's like, "We have detectives on the case." And like, obviously I can't tell you everything that we're doing with this place, but yeah, we're like definitely watching it. And
So they think it's a traffic, like a sex trafficking
like
or something.
the most minor thing it could be is a underground gambling thing, which is super illegal.
Yeah.
To the major of like human trafficking or money laundering
What
or
on earth? We should
whatever.
go check that out,
Dude, it was so weird, like so weird. And we just there for like 5 minutes, and we got $115. Also, the other weird thing. So Sophie, she's always on her Snapchat, right?
Yeah.
And so she's like Snapchatting. She's like, "Oh, I'll shout you guys out so my like friends will come or whatever." So she's like Snapchatting him, and the guy, she's like, "We were just here at this pawn shop," and the guy was really adamant to say like, "It's not a pawn shop." And then she's like showing the guy and the girl is kind of just like hiding her face. So we're just like, this is so
That
weird.
is so weird.
Dude, it's so
That
weird.
reminds me of like Goonies.
Yeah.
When they go into that shack and it's a restaurant.
It was so weird.
Oh my gosh.
It was so weird, yeah.
We should look into that. I really want to go and see
So
it.
I was just like, oh my gosh, this is insane. And I told Sophie, I was like, we should just like get a bunch of people and come back, because if it is like a human trafficking thing or something, they can't get us all.
Yeah.
Same if there's a whole bunch of us or something. I don't know. And maybe it is just a gambling thing. I have no idea, but it was so weird.
Oh my gosh. That's actually kind of similar to the story that I was going to share.
Really?
Kind of. So, do you remember that?
Oh,
okay.
But I told Sophie like a bunch. I'm like, dude, I bet Reed and Maddie would be all over this and want to come like check this out.
Yeah, I
And
seriously
just be
do.
like, what the heck?
That sounds so crazy. I want to see it.
Dude, it was so weird.
Oh
it was
my
so
gosh.
weird.
That's weird.
But, and I told Cass this, and I'm like, oh, we should get. Cass is like, oh, you should get my like really heavy friends who like aren't cute to go in to see if they're like creepy around them, or if like they don't want to let them in, or
what would they do? Like, I don't get it. Like, they want you to come back and then like knock her out or something.
That's what I don't know. You know, it's weird because Sophie's like so cute, Maddie's so cute.
Dang.
So just like, ooh, that's weird.
That like grosses me out.
Right? I know. I was like,
It's like that feeling when we went to fetish night.
dude. That's exactly what
Just
it
like
was.
the best feeling in the world.
Just like
Nirvana.
heaven.
So I was doing so my brother sends us like a Facebook message every week from his mission. And I'll lay off. Yeah.
Okay.
Stuart. And we have a group chat, and he just messages us, and we can like go back and forth. It's really cool. And he sent us this thing, and he was telling us about in Washington, there is an old family or something like that, the Washburns, And turns out that they have family here in American Fork, and they're the Washburn Chipmans or something. And the Chipmans comes from the old Chipman line, which is Robert's middle name.
Oh.
Which is because it's I don't remember. It's one of my lines is the Chipmans.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's like my lineage.
Right.
And he said, yeah, so like this place, it's a mansion. They have one in Washington or something, and then there's one in American Fork. You guys should go check it out.
Is it what I think it is?
Yeah.
What?
I just got the chills.
No way.
Yeah, it is.
That weird, creepy one with the arches?
With the arches. So he was telling us this, and I was like, oh, interesting. And like, whatever. And I immediately think of that place for some reason. I'm thinking about like mansions in American Fork. How many mansions are there?
Yeah.
And then he sends a picture, and it is exactly that place. Look, check it out.
Oh my gosh.
It's and he says that we probably own it.
No way.
Not like literally us, but
right. You someone you're related to somehow.
See, look at this. So this is all about the history of it. We're 6 cousins, 4 times removed, blah blah blah, and then.
What?
And so my mom went and drove past it today.
Oh, I do that fence right there. Where are you gonna hop over?
See, look.
Oh, that's crazy. In your face.
Take that.
Oh,
isn't that crazy? And then so I wrote it
Mine-
down because like I want to go check that out now. And we like snuck in there.
insane.
Yeah.
Holy
And so he wrote this whole history about it today. So I went and looked it up. Visit spooky site in American Fork, and there's all these like scary stories about it.
Are you sure it's not adios mother?
Yeah. And like
That's crazy.
and so look, there's all this stuff about it, about all the Chipman. Look, that they tell stories about the old Chipman mansion, strange, scary stories. For all my listeners, the address is what is it? 280 South Center Street, American Fork.
That's insane. Immediately when you said that, I was like, okay, that's either got to be that school we always snuck into or that freaking spooky mansion.
Yeah, it is the spooky mansion. Remember with the red window?
The red room, that's the only light that was ever
And remember
on in
we
there?
snuck in and looked in and there was like the microwave was on? And we're like, why the freak is the microwave on? That place was scary.
That place is
crap.
spooky.
Oh my gosh.
I
Now
haven't
I
driven
really
past
want to
that
go
in a
there.
while,
And so my
same.
mom like drove past and like,
Dude, we're mobile now. Let's go.
come on, baby. Come on, mom. Come through. And she filmed it and stuff. See, like.
Oh, that's so crazy. Dude, dang it.
Doesn't that take you back?
This would be like the ultimate bomb drop at high school, like on the lunch table. You guys aren't going to believe this.
You guys are not going to believe this.
Oh,
Boy, do I have good news for you.
Only 3 easy payments.
And there's like a hand cart in there.
So what's the deal with it now? Do they know?
Ah, I didn't read it anymore because I got too spooked. Just kidding. I was at
Ooh,
work.
or the Lilligren Ranch.
Oh my gosh, I
Remember
want
that
to
one?
figure out about that place. Like what? Okay, so this is from inside of the church. We're probably gonna be able to see the red room. Oh my gosh!
Oh my heck.
Oh goodness!
Oh, it's so creepy.
That's the red room.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh!
Oh,
Isn't that crazy? That was the story I wanted to tell you earlier.
that's nuts.
Yeah,
I can't
so
believe that.
I need to read more about it because he was saying like something about how our ancestors have like claim to it, or my mom's saying that we should go to the American Fork city offices and figure it out.
That's crazy.
Man,
That'd be so cool if like you
became my
actually
new
did,
house.
Like, yeah. Guess where we're going, Maddie?
Is Lilligren Ranch still around? Did they tear it down?
They tore it down. Yeah, there's like an Intermountain there or something.
I'm so glad were you there when we went inside?
Do you remember that? You had the axe and we were beating the crap out of that like treasure chest thing.
Oh yeah.
Just destroying that.
Who was with us?
Me and Keaton.
Yeah, and there was like a
That was
Cadillac.
like the middle of the day.
Do you remember? There was like a Cadillac
And the
or
Mustang.
something. And I took like something like on the steering wheel. I have it still somewhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Creepy.
place was spooky. And the haunted school.
Yeah, the school is way. Apparently, they're making that into like some. Well, they're trying
like
to.
a
anyway.
Satan center or something.
Well, that's what it was, but they're trying to make it into like a cool like art installation museum type thing. Yeah. Me and Diesel drove past it the other day, and this guy was like doing some like whatever it's called, making it pretty and whatever you call that.
Gentrification.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. I can't believe that.
Yeah, isn't that nuts? I know. I've been like stewing about it all day.
Did you just find out about it today?
Yeah.
What the heck?
At work, so as soon as he sent that there was a mansion, I immediately thought of that place. And then he said, "Yeah, it has these big arches." I'm like, "Oh, I know that place."
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
We should seriously go there.
Sophie would love that. She'd be, yes. Why have you taken me here before?
Maddie with her big pregnant belly.
Oh, she's safe. No demons are gonna hurt her.
No demons even like babies.
No, she's already got a demon inside of her.
We watched a scary movie last night because Maddie's out of town. And so was that last night? Yeah, me, Michael, and Caitlin. They came over and we watched The Taking of Deborah Logan. You ever heard of that?
Deborah? No,
Deborah. And 53 seconds. And it's a really crazy movie. It's just like about this lady who has Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
And she apparently this is a pretty common superstition that if you have Alzheimer's, your brain is more susceptible to
the dark side,
to demons and stuff. So that's what the movie's about. Basically, it's actually kind of it's a crazy movie. It's like documentary style, like fake documentary, mockumentary, which makes it even scarier. And she, back in the day when they had an operator, when people had to call, like in like the early days of the telephone, she used to be the person that would connect people's calls. So they would call and be like, "I need to talk to a doctor," and she would like change them and whatever. And she ended up finding out that this guy had murdered all these girls because she was the operator. And so
that sounds intense.
She's like connecting him to people that he's gonna kill, and she like feels terrible about it. Anyway, the last person that he was gonna kill was her daughter, and so she ends up killing this guy. And then this is like years ago. Now she's an old lady, and when she gets Alzheimer's, his like demon takes over her brain kind of to kill the daughter, because I guess it's some ritual. If he kills these girls in a certain way, he'll like have eternal life or something. So the movie is like
Voldemort of him.
Yeah, she's like his Horcrux. And like the movie is the lady trying to fight off the demon so she doesn't kill her own daughter while she's losing her mind. But it's also really similar to Alzheimer's. That's what's scary about it, is that it actually mimics real Alzheimer's reactions. Because like all the stuff that she does is real. So it makes you think, obviously it's not true, but it makes you think, oh, people with Alzheimer's kind of act like they have a demon. Like, did you know that? Like they can be like really violent and aggressive.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why. At least that's what we said.
Speaking of, so Sophie, there's this math professor that she goes to get tutored at UVU. Really nice guy. And she like went to him 3 times in the week to prepare for the test, goes to the test, like has a mental like freak out and just kind of forgets everything and doesn't do good on the test.
Yikes.
Bummer.
That sucks.
Anyways, goes back to the tutor. Tutor's like, "How did you do on the test?" She's like, "Oh my gosh, like I just like sucked at it. Pretty sure I have Alzheimer's." And he's like, "My father died of Alzheimer's." And she's like, oh man. Not a high point for her.
It's like that joke we used to always make. My dad actually had that.
It's a sensitive subject. Can we not talk about it? Please.
That always bugs me. Even if it's true, it's just kind of like, I didn't know that. Shoot.
Yeah. Are you so like? It'd be sweet to have something like this, some side money. Do you have anything like that of like your own that you have been thinking about or working on, or? And it doesn't. I guess doesn't really have to be for money, but.
So
more money, more problems, as they say.
True. As far as creative outlet, but not for money, but this is kind of my creative outlet right now. Maddie has her thing, which obviously is for money. Yeah. And I've actually...
How's that going?
It's going really well. It's so... I don't know. It is awesome to make money off something that you love. Yeah. And like we're getting it in shops and stuff. And now she's got all this business and this... I think we already told you this. This company wants to sponsor her to do calligraphy classes.
Oh, no, you didn't tell me that.
No?
That's awesome.
Yeah, just barely. This like nationwide company called it's like Sip and Script. And they've like been on the news and stuff. They're awesome. And I don't exactly understand the business model, but I guess they all around the country, they basically pay for everything about your calligraphy lessons, and they get all of the people to come. Like they market it and everything, and they have the venue.
You just got to teach it,
and then you teach it, and then you split the money somehow. And so
that's really nice. That's like the hardest part.
Yeah, she has got an interview with them this week, I think.
That's cool.
So she's doing that, and that's a big thing. Yeah. And then also her birth flower prints, we put them in this shop called Salt and Honey, and they sell out. They sold out. I actually have to go get more tomorrow because they sold out way faster than we expected. So it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
I don't really have anything like that right now because I'm so busy. And that's why I love doing this because it gives me energy because I would be talking anyway, you know? Right. And I can fit it in my life, but it feels like an outlet to my creativity. But I'm just working so much and so much school. Yeah. It's my last semester. So on the side, the ways that I make money on the side right now, I sold some stuff actually on eBay just to try it out, and it actually worked really well. Like as well as Facebook Marketplace. Like I would just sell stuff. Like I sold a cabinet, I sold an elliptical, things that I sold that for my in-laws, and it's kind of addicting because it's kind of fun. Sold a bunch of our random crap, but it's a little time consuming and it's not like I love it. It was just kind of fun for a little bit. And then just like little different investment things.
That's cool.
We're looking to we want to buy a 4-plex.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be super cool.
That'd be way cool.
And
I would love that.
Yeah. And then eventually move out and then rent out the other one, rent out all 4, and just keep it forever and maintain it.
Yeah, that'd be way cool. That's like my Uncle Chris. He has like, I don't know, like 22 properties like that he just... Really? Yeah, he has a bunch.
Does he own them?
Dang. Yeah, he has a whole bunch, which is awesome.
Is he making bank off of that?
I think so. But Sophie, her friend's roommate, dude, she's a hustler. She'll just go to IKEA, buy an IKEA plant, put it in an IKEA pot, so it costs like $12, right? Yeah. And then she'll resell it on Facebook Market for $30. Yeah. And she'll do that with like 10 at a time. Or she bought like what's way popular with chicks right now is like the big just like fur pelt things, you know? Yeah. She bought like 20 of those at $30. Sold all 20 of them for $80 a pop on Facebook Market. Dang. Yeah, I know. Just reselling stuff.
I know Gabe was telling me he was doing that with like iPhone chargers. You can buy them, I guess, wholesale for really cheap. I mean, how much do they sell for? They're pretty expensive. He said they're like $30, and you can buy them for like $7 if you buy them in bulk. So he just he bought like 50 of them and resold them and made a ton of money. It's a bunch of little weird things that you can do to make money.
I ran into Gabe randomly at church.
Really?
Like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Gabe and Zane. And Zane's little sister.
Was Zane with Gabe? Mm-mm. Okay. I was like, that's a weird combo if they were.
Gabe was just by himself. And
I thought he was gone.
I thought he was too. I thought he like lived in Texas or something. Yeah. But he's like, it was really good to see him. I was super happy to see him. And that was like the only one of my good friends that Sophie hadn't met yet. So it was like the final part of the puzzle. Yeah. So it was really cool. And he seems like he's doing good. But I had no idea. So we get up to like go leave because Sacramento just ended after we're chatting. And we're like walking out. And then this older dude's like, "Hey, is this one of your phones?" And like he lifted it so the screen was on, and it was like this blonde chick with like really pretty wavy hair. And Gabe's like, "Oh yeah, that's my phone." And I was like, "What? Who's that?" And then I like actually look at it, and it's that Alyssa chick.
The one that
Austin Wattups.
Yeah, I knew that Gabe told me that.
Dude, I had no idea. I was like, "You're dating her? What the heck?"
Isn't that his ex-wife?
Yeah, Austin Wattups' ex-wife. Yeah. And I like went on a date with her too and hung out with her a couple times because she's Matt's cousin.
Matt, yeah, 7'7".
Yeah, the
guy.
Gigantor. But yeah, I was like, "What the heck, Gabe? You're dating?" I'm like, "How long you been dating?" And he's like, "It's like a year." And I was like, "What? Really?
A year?"
Yeah. And she just like posted on her Instagram like a video of them driving somewhere. And Gabe's like, he's pretty private about his dating and whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like a video of them just like kissing in the car. He's like kissing her, and I was like, "Gabe,
really?
what?" Yeah, it was so weird. It was so weird. But he's like, "Yeah, dude, she's like great, and like we're happy." And I'm like, "Dude, that's freaking awesome. She is what I know of her. She's way cool."